come together in a funny way, and this was the perfect item build in the perfect situation. And for Thompson to make that call, it was genius. It was genius.
He just felt like buying Diffu. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's all it is. Just like when you play a lot of Dota and when you're really good at the game, you have that instinct, you have these ideas, you just gotta trust yourself and go with them.
Players know what to do in an instant of a second inside a game. That goes for commentary as well. If a commentator knows this is the moment.
Here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dive! In from Universe! It's a disaster!
I do think that TI is very special for everyone. History of Dota is like written at TI.
Navi's about to be caught. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of Heaven turns it around.
Players and casters are making the history together, of course, but if you don't put voice on what you are doing, it's worthless.
To me, what makes a great call at TI is like, I'd say, raw emotion.
Boxing in a higher! Epi! Power strike onto two! Just on away, but took them out!
The point is to tell the story of the fight. You have to be able to build up to it. That itself, it's a skill that I feel only a very few people have.
But now the call! There! He stops it right in the tracks! They're gonna be able to take down two! And a third falls from Evo! Evil geniuses!
I think a good crowd is everything. At times, deafening to the point where you can't really hear the game sound. But it's always like an interesting challenge finding the balance between egging them on and feeding into that passion, but not letting it like completely wash you away.
I always want to ride the wave that is the crowd. If they're that loud, then I'm matching them. Like, I will try and keep up.
Bulba wants to open up. Tucky's dragging him back. Nixon holds Bulba away. Joe, low life. He can't Shakuchi. Nice. He can't Shakuchi. Liquid get first blood.
That's what the thing is about classic good casting. Like, every single time, I still get goosebumps.
Everything hangs in the balance. It all comes down to this.
The last game of the International 3 finals between Alliance and Navi. 5th game, everything on the line.
One more game, $2 million on the table. Winner, first place at the International, the aegis and the prestige of being the best Dota 2 team in the world.
The big one, the $1 million dream coil. Everybody remembers that play. I can remember every single word Luminous is screaming.
Alliance are doing it! They need a little more! Supposed to fall! Down! It's Jeopardy! There's a glitch! It could be their last!
All this hype is building. The TPs are canceled. The $1 million dream coil has already happened. They're pushing in.
BKB! They want this round! They're gonna do it!
And it's just like, Alliance is doing it! The Kings of the North!
Alliance wins! They win TI3! The Alliance just won $1.4 million!
Every time I think about it, I get the shivers. It's just so good.
If you have the same game commentated by different people, it will be a very different story for each commentator because each commentator will highlight something different. The way that Toby does Black Hole, the moment that Enigma is picked, he's like, okay, let's do this, I'm ready. You can see his whole face, it lights up.
Even though it's become a meme and died as a meme, he still gets giddy.
This is gonna be it, he's ready for it.
They're losing their Rama. Black Hole! Big one from Fly! Coming to follow up into a call! Let the spin skirt, dumps one! It's a double kill! It's an accurate slam! It's a disaster! Oh, VP!
Toby is also really good at commentary because he used to do acting jobs, so he knows how to use his voice without depleting it. And I think the Korean commentators do that as well. They get singing lessons or voice lessons so that they can shout.
There was some clip on YouTube, the Korean casters, the hype level it wasn't just there, it was like here.
And it was just this boring farm fest that went on for forever. And meanwhile, there's just these 2 Korean casters that are going crazy over every little thing.
오, 이거는 야, 이거 전략 포즈 아닙니까?
They're bored out of their minds, but they're still yelling.
아니, 이 장엄한 베나루의 홀에 예? 아까까지만 해도 도서관이었어요. 왜냐면 관중의 반들이 잠을 자고 있었거든요. 자다 깼는데 아직 게임하니까 짜증난다 이거죠.
They basically had to entertain the entire Korean audience or whoever was listening because the game was so dull.
그래! 그래 밀고 있죠! 그렇지! 밀고 있죠! 이게! 그래 밀고 있어요! 그래 밀고 있어요! 야 제발! 제발!
Oh my god, I love that clip so much.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 1
Austin Major.
At Finem versus OG, it was the grand finals. It was an insane game. We're playing against mega creeps.
This was OD Pixel's moment. He starts talking on the microphone. He says some stupid shit. It makes no sense.
Is he going for it?
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's
He
not.
is going
No,
for
he's
it.
not. He's not. Oh my God,
No, no, no. Oh my God.
That could have been it! Anything he said would have gone down in Dota 2 history. And God, if it wasn't the perfect response to that moment.
The best commentators are the ones that can actually entertain the crowd and, more importantly, create the memories. When that one amazing play comes along, you have to elevate that to become memorable for eternity.
There's a lot of ways to screw up playing Dota 2. Misclicks, bad buybacks, item decisions, you name it. But no screw-ups in Dota 2 history are more famous than Team Orange's KYXY at TI3.
Orange versus 2011 international champions, Na'Vi.
It comes down to one single game, either team to take it, gonna head in to the grand final.
We were waiting backstage to see what's gonna win between Orange and Na'Vi. From how we saw it, Orange had the upper hand. We're kind of preparing mentally to play against Orange in the finals.
We colossally fucked up that game. Like, we fed so much. It's like, if you watch that game, it's like feed after feed after feed after feed.
I remember KYXY was just a boss. He was doing so well at this TI. He was carrying Orange in so many of those matches. And
no way to stop it. No matter what,
that he has this moment.
Continue to farm up and then just deal with this Aegis when it comes out. Should be on the hands of Mushi, and in fact goes to the hands of Windrunner. No.
Denial.
What?
They denied it. They failed.
Oh!
We didn't realize at first. If I remember correctly, we were still playing the game for like 5 minutes. And like the pressure was getting to us too, and like a lot of like stuff's going on. At some point, I think it was Dandy, or maybe Khawas. It's like, oh, they don't have the Aegis. Like,
I think it took a few seconds for like the casters to realize as well, if I remember correctly. Like the crowd as well. Everybody was like, a few moments later, were like, oh.
That doesn't happen. I mean, who does that, and why didn't he pick the 8? You have so many questions always on this that, I mean, you kind of ruined the game. It's the feeling that you're left with.
There's footage of KYXY at that moment as his heart literally shatters.
Заденаила! ВР заденаила Аегис!
ВР заденаила Аегис. Кто у нас там? Blood Angel? Blood Angel славился такими мувами.
Я не знаю, что еще должно здесь произойти. Нави,
When I saw that, I mean,
все получается. Даже Аегис просто.
I felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for KYXY.
I think it stays with him maybe all his life.
If we're gonna have him in the seat, we're gonna be talking about it with him.
Poor guy, don't bully him too much.
当时肉上快死了，然后我不想捡到我的队友的，然后我又想要攻击那个肉山，所以我就按 A， 然后就不小心把那个盾 A 掉，然后所以我的队友就很不懂发生什么事情，以为我把盾抢了这样。
That's what he was doing. Literally, that's what he was doing. Just spamming it like that, you know, just going ham, making it feel like it will kill it faster or something like that, or like you're just so nervous, probably.
They celebrated.
当时我是超级内疚，因为那个是我们败者组的决赛了，就毕竟我们赢了就可以去决赛。那我是觉得非常的内疚，因为我们很难才达到这个地步，这样子对。打完比赛过后，我的队友就告诉我不要那么内疚，因为我也是有功劳才能够达到前3这个成绩的，对，就这样叫我不要内疚。
The truth is that, you know, mistakes, they happen. And this is when you need your team. You need your teammates to be there for you. Just like when you're going to be there for them, once that's going to happen to them.
I think every pro Dota player at some point has made a fatal mistake in a game. And
all you can do is try and move past it and either try and still win the game if it's winnable or just go on to the next one.
然后也希望那些有做失误的人不要那么觉得内疚，因为毕竟还是要继续成长这样。对，没错。
So when people think about mistakes when it comes to Dota, people think about the things that happen inside of the game while the match is live. You don't really think about mistakes happening in the draft, but this is one of the biggest mistakes that has ever happened at a TI. So it was TI9, Alliance versus RNG, and it's the lower bracket best of ones, where there's the most hype and the most pressure. One screw up, and you are just out of the international.
You know, going into that game and seeing how the draft progressed, everything was kind of working out how we wanted it to go. Then it goes towards the end of the draft where Insania wanted to ban Naga.
We had these papers printed where you could see like their drafts and what they had been playing a lot, and Mickey was like, I don't think they really play that much Naga if I recall correctly. And then I don't know if I was too caught up in the moment or what it was. So I started looking at the papers, I forget about the timer, and then I'm like, all right, you're right, we should ban the gyro. And I move my mouse, pull it over to gyro, don't look at the timer, and just click it. And right as that happens, the clock takes over, and I pick the gyrocopter.
We didn't ban anything.
Oh my god. Are you serious?
Whatever.
Did this just happen?
It's fine. We gotta deal with it.
Oh my god. I don't know if I really was angry so much. I was more like shocked. It was hard to like understand because even though you see it with your own eyes, like it's just like, how could this possibly happen?
Yes, I was on the panel. I was on the panel for Insania picking gyro. None of us noticed. Even when Lanem, like pointing at his head, he's just like, are they, I don't know, I always want to hear what he was saying too. That's probably something really interesting.
空办 ，nice， 他把他选慌了，空办。
三位虚空，不是我跟你说，不是他想搬飞机，你知道什么意思吗？他想搬飞机，他选到飞机了。我觉得对面好像真这样，我跟你说，他要搬飞机，他双手插头了，他没了。
就我们。犹豫了片刻，然后后面反应过来，他们可能是点错了，然后点错了以后，我们就感觉有点搞笑嘛。
You were inside the pod at the time?
Yeah.
I can fuck. Why don't you know? Okay. Sorry guys.
How about offlanes? We can also play mid gyro. Let's see what they pick. Okay. Let's see what they pick. Don't pick your heroes, guys.
Don't worry. We got this.
All right, Loda. How are you feeling?
I think they're gonna do really well. Yeah.
Feel confident?
Yeah, I feel confident.
First thought in my head is like, it's fine, we can fix this, right? I can play gyro mid. And three of us are like yelling, I can play gyro, it's fine.
I can play gyro against the lane top with Aiden. It's actually not that bad.
This is gonna be a story to tell, boys. Yes, and if this works for any fucking team, it's our time.
Listen.
How they react, what they do when they're put into this like near impossible situation, their first reaction is, it's okay, we can figure this out. I thought that was like just a beautiful moment.
When you're in the moment and someone like clearly messes up and there's no going back, the decision is done, you gotta help him because he's gonna feel bad about it, and the worst thing you can do is have him suffer alone.
So thanks boys. I appreciate it.
We're gonna have to play like...
Give him zero.
How do you think? It's fine.
I mean, I've always known what kind of people I'm playing with. We make mistakes, maybe not of this like magnitude, but whenever we make mistakes in games and stuff, there's still the same 4 guys that are behind me, backing me up, and like, I feel like someone messes up, that's the kind of attitude I want to show towards them too. So, I mean, life moves on, right? Like, this is something that happened. I mean, if people get joy from it, then sure. I mean, why not? Like, I'm down for the joke. Let's make it something fun. More than anything, I feel like it made me feel good that other people can see it, and they can see like, this is who we are, this is how we treat Dota, and this is how we try to be like the best team we possibly could be.
The concept of dark horse in Dota has always been a big thing, and I think there's a lot behind it, a lot more than what people think.
It's some team coming out of nowhere. People don't expect them to be there.
someone that will upset the whole tournament and that will make everyone go like, wow, these guys did something spectacular.
For the team that's going as a dark horse, it's an advantage, for sure.
The thing is, nobody's looking at you, even though you're the one that has a really good idea how to beat this tournament.
They just enjoy game after game, whereas other teams, they're like thinking about all the pressure or all what's at stake.
就是如果被大家都看好的情况下，其实压力是挺大的啊。如果有一场表现不好，或者说最后的成绩不好，就是整个心态不一样嘛，会比较容易崩溃吧，我觉得。
Maybe OG felt the pressure. That's why we lost against TNC.
We had played TNC before, many times, and there was no doubt in our mind and in their minds also that we were the better team. But they have this fire going for them. It's scary. It's really scary to play these teams because they have nothing to lose.
You underestimate a team, you don't play your best just because you feel it's going to be, quote unquote, a free win. But that free win is a free loss. That's what happens.
我觉得黑马队的性质就是对当前版本有自己的一套独特的打法。
I think DC's what they were doing the most at TI was really focusing on split pushing.
I could count 5 teams or even 10 teams that would be ahead of DC, but they go to the grand finals.
Misery, congratulations. How does it feel to take down the TI5 champs?
Holy shit, dude. That was a crazy ass game.
I always learn a lot watching these dark horses. Usually people just go to them and like, how did you make that happen?
How are you able to do that up against them?
And they always answer like, we don't know, and then they say something, but they actually know.
So, yeah, I don't know.
And what they say right after the we don't know is usually the key to the success they just had.
We kind of pulled some tricks in the draft that made them believe that a core hero was a core, when in fact it was a support all along.
DC went on like one of those crazy OG loser bracket win streaks. Once a team gets in the booth and they get used to the feeling of winning, it's kind of hard to stop them.
These kind of teams, they have a flow going on. It's something very unique, and they just roll throughout the tournament.
像 CDC 这支队伍的话，我觉得它是历届所有就是 TI 系列赛中，我觉得是最大的一匹黑马。因为他们是从外卡赛杀进来的一支亚军队伍，并且这支队伍的5个人全是第一次打 TI。
They struggled in the wild cards. They did. They almost didn't make it.
We did play them even 1 month before TI, and we just beat the crap out of them. And then 1 month later, they go to the international and they beat the crap out of everyone else.
What a winter's curse from Q! Demolishes 2 more! I don't know how, but they keep us alive. CDEC again and again with the upsets.
They just caught every team off guard. And I think that's just like a perfect definition of what a dark horse is.
I think every year there's been an underdog that has impressed me.
One of the really hard-working teams from the open qualifiers just seems to surprise everyone. So I don't know what team that'll be.
Dark horses just play a different kind of Dota too. They teach you a lesson. They teach you 2 lessons. It's very inspiring.
It's like a Cinderella story. And when you get those teams starting to beat ours, it showed everyone in the world that everyone can do it.
First thing, all the games are final. If there's a bug in a match, we're going to play. We won't go back for a bug. It's just part of the game. Geometry site does not reveal wards. Okay? So keep that in mind. You guys probably does not reveal wards. It's a bug.
We heard that there are going to be some tournament for a huge amount of money.
当时听说有个 TI1 的比赛嘛，就相当于玩一个 DOTA 1的加强版 DOTA 2嘛。
I think I got the beta key first time somewhere
2 weeks before the first international, maybe 3.
Well, the first moment in which I loaded up Dota 2 was actually a complete disaster.
It was very mixed feeling for me, at least. This looks great, but I actually don't understand what's happening at all.
Maybe one guy liked it. I thought it was pretty cool, but everybody was just like, what the fuck is this?
The initial reaction, not just for myself, it was just like, this isn't Dota.
I played Dota 1 for 5 years or whatever, and I loved the game completely, the mechanics and how you move around and stuff.
6 years ago, we just played Dota 1 all day at that time.
Some things were so bad about Dota 1, but we got so used to it that it just felt natural. Changes to something that's really important to you is always hard to welcome, not in the sense that you look at it in a bad way, but you know, it's like everything's gonna change. 1 week after, even maybe 2 days after, you're gonna look back and be like, I was so stupid to even hesitate.
TI was on such short notice, hey, we're gonna make a tournament, $1 million. We were like, okay. It's like, is this real?
Prior to the event, I think was it DK, they declined an invite because they didn't believe it was true. A lot of the pros at the time, when they transitioned, they're like, oh, well, we'll just do it this one time. It's a lot of money involved and just go back to Dota 1.
I thought it was a little ridiculous, to be honest with you, for playing for $1 million. That was like by far the highest paying prize pool of any Dota tournament.
What do you think of Dota 2 so far?
I'm just waiting for it to be finished because, you know, all the little bugs and tweaks and I guess some of the animations aren't complete.
Yeah. I think everyone kind of understood and accepted that no one was going to be ready.
We just went with it. We accepted the fact that this is the game now.
当时我们去打 TI1 的比赛的时候，然后我队友他连就是装备都怎么买都不知道，然后就很尴尬。
We took it very seriously. During that time, we wanted to be the best team regardless. We didn't even want to lose anything that was, let's say, fake. We didn't care.
Na'Vi, they had a set number of heroes, maybe 10, 15 heroes that they played throughout the tournament.
And we were choosing them by attack animation. We were thinking, okay, those guys, they have some broken attack animation. Let's choose them.
We really never played in booths like that. We abused the booths. Dendi was just jumping up and like, screwing around with people every time the first blood happened or something like that. Tagil, you do this. Tagil!
Tagil! We were like not realizing that we actually play for this amount of money. We were just playing and having fun. We were so confident. I remember we were so confident that we're going to win because I joined the game and I feel so free.
When the first international ended and we saw the whole spectacle surrounding it, everyone knew that this was something that was going to come long term, and other tournament organizers immediately jumped on it and wanted to run this game.
Esports definitely grew a lot the next coming years after that, more than it did prior to it. As much as people dislike the changes in the beginning, they're all for the better, and I think Dota now is better than it's ever been.
It just felt like this is going to be the future. You know, it set a message. This is what esports is going to be.
The All-Star matches are always fun at TI. This is where, you know, everybody gets to have fun from players' perspective and fans' perspective.
Community could vote for players, and 10 players who would get most votes would play 5 against 5.
You really appreciate it, especially when you're not chosen, because then you remember it. It means more, right? It's just this good feeling that you know that you're appreciated.
能被邀请去那个打明星赛，其实我觉得就对自己来说就非常兴奋吧，因为我是一个明星。
很喜欢那个就是有写着我名字的那件 T 恤，然后但是我还是比较喜欢玩，不喜欢当 coach， 就是很开心啊，就感觉他们穿了就是那个衣服，就好像在支持我一样。
TI3 one, I guess, was the most memorable one, where Dendi, you know, ran around after he killed me.
I just had some fun, you know, trolling around.
still won the match easy.
Last year was crazy, like, because it was 10 against 10.
That was great. I had to pick one guy and some other guy stood up and it ended up in a rock, scissors, paper, you know. I felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, you know, everyone was having fun.
I think last year's All-Star match was by far like the best one.
For some reason, you have to sit here. Like everybody else chose their own spots to sit. Something's going on here.
How confident are you in this team?
You know, sitting next to Dendi. Old times, you know.
You wish it were Dendi.
Isn't it?
When mask was pulled off, I was like shaking my head and went like, oh, I'm sorry, people around me, all in my sweat.
Opa Dendi.
It was amazing. And I had a lot of fun.
所以当时我觉得娱乐的时候，我买圣剑，我还是要继续全水去虐他们，然后啊，对不起，我虐了你们，但是输了那场游戏过后，竟然开心，但是又有点丢脸的感觉。
我对明星赛的印象，我觉得现在是做的越来越娱乐了，因为本来就大家不是为了输赢就做的越来越有趣了。
Of course you want to win it still, you know? You don't want to, you know.
An advantage, but
just deals with the tombstone pretty well as well with the unleash.
And again, if you start to fall, we're going to see Execration. They'll snag it for themselves. They have the capability to give it over to Tino. And Shanks can play it as well. I do not believe there's any more flex that they have with the Marcy.
Now, I do have a question to you as we look at Playhard and the player cams. Ever since the retirement of Kez Cute, would you say that Playhard is the cutest of all players that remains in the Dota scene? Look at him.
Xiao Yu is very close.
True.
Xiao Yu
but I just want to pitch those cheeks, you know? He's like a little chipmunk.
Pop off in his past.
Hey, leave him alone, man.
In the laning space.
10 seconds remaining. It's a compliment.
I know, but series from Execration. I'm sure there's some bad
we
things
don't have
about
them here in
chipmunks.
Australia. So no, squirrels are bad. Chipmunks are always good. They're just harmless little things.
Yeah, but I'm sure they do something bad. They have to, right? If they're gonna murk some creature.
I think you're really overestimating the size of these, but well, they didn't pick up the Marcy. They get rid of something else that's gonna not get rid of. They pick up something else that's able to deal with the Undying Tombstone in the Snapfire. I like it. The thing is now, what do you actually lane? Like, how do you lane this? Is this a set Snapfire coming through? Because Clockwork pretty much has to be paired with a Death Prophet, right? It feels kind of like I don't like these hard and fast rules of Dota, but it just lanes work out so much better 90% of the time if it's a ranged and a melee. You cover for each other's deficiencies pretty well.
There are some very, very odd occasions where it can be different, but I am 100% in agreement where...
Are we lunating here?
We are
you have a Marcy
lunaring
and a
here.
Visage and an Undying to help.
We are lunaring here. Yes, yes, it needs to be picked. It would be an incredible game. We saw Luna and Visage played in South America a couple of times, and like day 1, day 2, and honestly, actually, I think towards the end of day 2, teams were like, we need to ban this. Like Visage needs to be first phase banned, and we didn't see much Luna after that, but. Pairing is just ridiculous. It won so many games there.
I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long to come out, to be honest. We haven't even seen a ton of Visage like first or even second phase bans. Sometimes it's been in the third phase, but Luna hasn't been banned at all. Nah, not really. Nah, I haven't been seeing. Quap of Pain coming through here.
Get the drag back cookie should be able to
Quap of Pain, Coddle of the Light,
yeah, I know.
Bottom of the Moon.
Yeah. I heard you say Bottom of the Moon earlier, that's kind of why.
It was all on purpose, don't worry about it. And a Bristle Boy coming through. Okay, so maybe now they can't actually afford to go into this Luna because then you have 0 Silver Edge builders. You just have to think like what either is going to give you break or what's going to give you repositioning abilities. So Mars doesn't really feel like it's on the cards. Chaos Knight doesn't pair amazingly well with the Undying. Yay, potentially any ranged Silver Edge builders for POS1? Nah.
Yep.
they don't have last pick.
Just to get him back to the tier 1 tower and Palace.
I feel like you're just going to get countered.
He's taking a decent amount of damage
You are probably right. Look, if there was ever a game for it, it's this game, but it doesn't look like the hero's not good, and like you said, also 24th pick is a big deterrent. I hope they pick up.
They roll? I don't know.
Troll's nice. Troll Undying is an incredibly strong lane. Can be a little bit awkward into cogs, but your matchup that's Bristleback as the game goes on is very, very good. You've got,
and they don't have amazing ways to kite as well, right? Neon's lineup so far. So I feel like Troll is going to have an issue with locking in onto targets, especially if you just give him the rebound as well, right?
And Psychic to help buff up as well his sustain and damage. That's a really good suggestion. I like the Bloodseeker ban too from Neon. Trying to think now what else they can. We said Troll.
2 points now in the battery or Execration. So for Neon, they still need their mid laner. They just want whatever's going to lane well into the Quap. So yeah, Invoker, Lina, Leshrac could potentially come out here. I feel like they need a little bit of that damage over time. Many instances of damage to go into a Visage. I guess as well he might. This lane, instead of putting into Grave, I feel like you don't trade with the Quap, so you don't win against the Quap, but I think you trade just fine into it. I'd go down the Lesh route.
Relying on the body blocks. Enry does have the vacuum, however. But drag back Vincenzo and get another kill.
Trying to think if there's any shenanigans Tino can pick up. Oh, sorry, Palace can pick up, because he does play some more unconventional position ones. You mentioned the Doom, but the break is way later in the game. 25, I think it is now.
Just because all the damage that's coming through is kind of Could you Pango mid on Neon? So you're going to be able to just spam out those soul assumptions. Okay.
Definitely Lesh is viable now.
Does look like at least with the death, Vincenzo is going to be able to TP out to
Indeed it is. Can't really Pango as much anymore. Although I suppose Necro doesn't really like to buy the old BKB, so maybe Pango is actually good. Being able to consistently chain stun him back to back to back unless you get a great dispose off. We'll see what they think. I think Lesh or Pango. Pretty solid options here. Nothing else is really going to provide you a dispel for the Necro. What are you thinking?
I think you can consider a Pugner as well. Just to put the Bristle...
Void Spirit as well?
The lane can be a bit... the game is very nice versus Queen of Pain and how you can deal with the Necro. And they've got no stuns at all on Execration. So Void Spirit would have a very, very good time at being able to jump in. Like, he'd have a free game. That'd just be so much chaos where you've got a Bristleback run into the middle, a DP running into the middle, Clockwork Hookshot, and Void Spirit in as well. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of options here for Neon. Like, you don't have to worry about taking objectives. You have a lot of mixed damage, magic, physical. You've got a ways to initiate. Holy shit. Alright.
So is it a mid snap? Or is it mid DP?
Mid DP.
Yeah. I don't hate the mid DP, but again, Bob's been playing out of his mind so far in these qualifiers, so I feel like you're not going to be able to just bank on Avatar mode to outplay him in the... because this is Quap favored. Like, you get Spirit Siphon, you're just going to blink.
He just turns it around. Stands his ground off the back of the life still.
Is this Darkseid picking off? Honestly, I feel like Execration, if they make a couple of mistakes, I am a bit worried on how they can take this game. I think Neon have very big advantage in regards to their team fighting. If they're not far behind, then their ultimate should really be a big issue for Execration.
I haven't seen Darkseid patch. Have you seen the item build on him lately?
No, I have not.
Because like the Aghanim Scepter, the old Aghanim Scepter, which gave 2 charges and a bunch of extra HP is gone, which would have been super nice for the Death Prophet. Provide that little bit of extra tankability, or even the Clockwork. It also prevents your ability to be able to farm quicker and scale, and now Normal Punch is actually on the Aghanim Scepter instead of the Shard, so it feels like it's a lot longer until you truly hit your effective timing. Don't forget the DP with the Spirit Siphons.
Which is a big concern then, because I think Execration are going to look to try and ball up with the lineup they have. They don't have the greatest scaling potential compared to Neon. Do have some answers to the Bristleback, but this Necro is vulnerable in this game. You can hookshot into kisses, and even if he tries to get out, you can vacuum him to keep him in place. And Kisses is going to be the way they kill the Necro, and late game Fortune Soul, he can just itemize, he'll get a Nullify eventually, and he's just going to need to itemize to make sure he doesn't die from Lincolns. I really feel like Execration do not have the biggest margin for error here. They have to be pretty perfect with their gameplay.
Can be very weak in the lane. It's kind of rough, isn't it? I'm just thinking as well, like they have absolutely nothing to be able to dispel the Ghost Shroud. They've got nothing that's going to get rid of Surge or Ion Shell. So is Nullify going to be at a premium this game? But who buys it on Execration? It's certainly odd. Like, I feel like there are a lot of things that haven't been answered for both teams, so I think we might just be in line for another even-ish one.
You said Nullify for Execration.
Sorry, I thought I said Execration. I think just having no Surge, no Ion Shell is kind of significant.
Yeah, I didn't, because I mean that was a big reason why we see sometimes the Brewmaster as a counter. You just got this AoE Dispel, even the Invoker as well, potentially why it was banned out. See how this one's able to shape up. I think we're in store for a very, very interesting game. I think Execration off the back of their lanes have an advantage, but you need to capitalize and get objectives after that. And again, if you start to fall behind, I'm very concerned that Neon with their team fights could be a big issue.
Really wanted to see the Lunac, man.
Same.
I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity coming through here, but why to doubt the words of Chemo? You know, he always takes RR's seat during the draft, saying, "Get out of my way." Clockwork and the Darkseer are still playing around the jungle, so they're going to be playing somewhat more carefully.
Down here is looking 2 for 2, nothing crazy. Bob gets a D ward as well. Now, we have seen Bob really pop off in his past 4 games in the laning stage. We've had the opportunity to class out every single series from Execration through the qualifiers, and every time we say that Bob, he is a person that is not being consistent. But if he continues to play with the form that he has so far, this is going to be very scary for Neon, because they do also have some issues with dealing with the Queen of Pain. Like, they do not have a lot of ways to hold Bob in place, and his matchup versus DP is pretty quite favored.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a game where Bob could just continue to ball out of control, and I mean, as much as we talk about, you know, it's obviously very important for these teams to be able to go to TI and all what it would mean for them, even if it's just last chance and they don't end up qualifying through. The experience is going to serve them in next year. Even just from the individual player level, right? A lot of people would have been watching how Bob's been playing over the past week or so, and he has just been an absolute beast. So maybe he's going to start getting some individual offers.
Got some battling going on. Tino's going to give over first blood as play hard. They've got the level 2 now. He went rocket flare. This madman's going to run in. But Vincenzo gets his own level 2. So the Soul Rip will give him that bonus health. And I mean, we were looking at the mid lane, and we need to be looking at the side lanes. And what's going on? And Ryu, he's up top. We got some lane swapping shenanigans as bottom lane set. He's going to go down. Palace, he gets his first kill of the game, so the Necro's on the board.
Suppose anytime you're up against a double strength lane, it's always great to be able to just pop the Necro into that. Means that Bristle is not going to be feeling too solid about anything. He still needs to obviously use Quill Spray to be able to secure any of these kills in lane, just creeps, and Palace, he's always going to have the potential to just spam out that Death Pulse.
I am really Fortune Soul bottom lane. They get the drag back. Cookie should be able to counter that. Soul still taking a crap load of damage, but it's got some tangos to play with. I'm really unsure of why Neon have swapped the lanes. Bristle plays very well into Visage, and Darkseer, I think you pick it into the Necro because of your magic damage in the lane. What can you see of this?
To be honest, not really sure. I feel like the Clockwork also would have done a pretty good job of disrupting a lot of these dives that Shanks is going to be going for, so yeah, I'm not really seeing it, to be honest. I mean, I guess Clockwork Darkseer is pretty good against the Visage as well. Gravekeeper's Cloak is just once again melted through the Ion Shell and the Battery Assault, but it's just going to expand further and further. Cold Bracelet does feel
to get him back to the tier 1 tower. And
Marcy, you would assume, just to always give Shanks that mana regen that he needs to stay out on the map. You don't need to buy really be effective until you're like level 3 on this top side. Henry is, they put the Ion Shell in onto it, but he's got the Rocket Flare leveled up, so can't actually catch Tito inside the cogs. Maybe they
nice
get Vincenzo.
Tino now getting chased down into the T1 tower. Why not go for the dive? And Ryu with the double kill, and now they're going to miss a full wave of experience. And this could potentially be the thing, Danog. Like, we have said a lot that Enryu is their backbone. He often carries Neon in their games, and potentially with him putting him in the safe lane, maybe in what they think is a lane that he'll just get a little bit more farm in, is something that is going to be important for them in this game.
Is a viable option here. Play hard. Once the looking even further, put them into much riskier positions. Now in the battery assault as well. I mean, this becomes a lot harder once you're level 4 as well. Play hard with that first point into the cogs. Tino as well. Just making sure that he can get up to like his level 5, even level 4, just for the single point in the Gravekeeper's Cloak will do a lot of work. Yes, as well, he might this lane instead of putting into Gravekeeper's Cloak, just because it's not going to be that effective against all of his burst damage. Going for the dive here, but again, without the cogs, I don't know how effective this is going to be.
They'll be relying on the body blocks. Enryu does have to vacuum, however. A drag back Vincenzo and get another kill. They might lose play hard. Tino is not going to go for it, however. Only 1 point in the soul assumption, so it wouldn't have been enough damage.
I want to see him actually put more points in the soul assumption instead. I've made up my mind. Just because all the damage that's coming through is kind of gradual, right? But it still is a lot of damage overall. So you're going to be able to just spam out those soul assumptions.
Does look like, at least with the death, Vincenzo is going to be able to TP out to mid to refill the bottle for Bob. And observe ward side of the map, Clockwork. All right, he's just giving me a heart attack. Dying to a T2 tower, nothing crazy. We'll see where Vincenzo is going to look to drop this ward, though. Will be kind of towards the top power rune, his bottom lane, Fortune Soul. Finally, he'll go down. Palos and Shanks, they've been putting a lot of work onto the Brisser back, but finally, they'll be granted with the kill.
Give it over 2 tangos as well, so one of them is probably going to be wasted here. Let's come back to the lane. The eat one, bro. It's going to go away anyway. Please! The support in me is dying.
The efficiency in you is dying as well.
Please eat at least one. No! They both vanish. That's like 60 gold right there.
You see it. Support's trying to help out mid. Bob he's able to get the haste rune. Play hard. He's forced to just stand his ground and hope to get the kill onto Vincenzo. And with the help of the Iron Shell, he'll find it. And now Avatar Mode's going to posture aggressively as well to try and keep the Clockwork alive. But they'll turn to the Death Buff, and instead, Bob is going to have enough mana coming back for the Magic Wand if they need the Sonic Wave to secure the kill. And Shanks, he's going to jump onto the tower. There's the ultimate into the dagger. Kill, and that'll be enough as Avatar Mode goes down. But still the supports on Neon are going to try and hit back. Shanks is eating up all the damage at the moment, but Shanks, he just turns it around. Stands his ground off the back of the life steal. What a beautiful rotation from the Execration supports.
And showing the importance of securing those power runes. That does not happen if Bob doesn't have the extra mana to be able to get off that third wave of spells, to have that movement speed to be able to just get pick off after pick off after pick off, and fantastic time as we expected on the Queen of Pain. Opened up, what, a 650 net worth lead over the DP.
Not only is that mid lane a big net worth lead, but even bottom lane as well. The carry-to-carry matchup, Palos has got a 1200 net worth lead on the Necro against the Brisser back. And Palos, he's even rushing the Spirit Vessel this game. So it's going to take away a lot of the tankiness out of the Brisser back, and even, I guess, the Darkseer. Like, this is a hero that can itemize for utility.
Don't forget the DP with the Spirit Ciphers. You aren't able to just run into the middle of these team fights anymore.
Darkseer up top. He'll be able to play with play hard. He'll even drop the wall to help secure the kill. Tino's got his own level 6 to play with as well. First familiar stun into the second. Meanwhile, towards the bottom secret shop, Shanks going to prove to be an issue with Fortune Soul taking some of the stacks, but they will not be able to catch up to the Marcy.
Dax as well. We'll see that this camp has been blocked up on Seh, assuming that he's going to start ferrying himself out a little sentry ward or two, just to make sure that things are a little bit safer. Now, this is not the start that you want to give to a Necro, kind of similar to a Visage. You can be very weak in the lane, but not if you're left uncontested and put into reasonable matchups like this. And even with those couple of early deaths for Tino, he's still getting his farm. He's second on net worth right now. All three for an Execration, in fact, to go ahead.
Look at this from Execration. They've had enough of Palace. You just mentioned that. He's out of free lane, kind of been left alone. And
he's going to need to back off entirely. I was about to say they could just go in again. They had the Arcane Root picked up on Marcy, and he'd used all of his Spirit Cipher charges, but back off in time.
The ward dropped on the higher ground player. It's going to see Vincenzo. They'll see the Marcy shortly as well. But Enry playing down bottom gives him a big advantage in regards to the damage. So there's nothing that Vincenzo is going to be able to do. And Shanks are ambitious to try and give him the rebound, but you'll lose Vincenzo. The main thing is that Palos gets another wave down bottom, and he might be forced to TP out once he kills this. We'll see. Shanks again. Clear forward. Play hard's going to be surged on fourth. They've got the vacuum, and there's no one to play with for the Marcy, so without a rebound target, he will be killed off.
In Palos, he might want to get one more wave, but it might end up costing him. Clearly, he is very tanky right now.
This could be disastrous for Neon if they dive with Vincenzo here.
Know that the Undying's back alive. I think they might have just got a brief glimpse of him in the tree line as well. So yeah, they're going to back off entirely. And they see on Neon as well that you've got both the Clockwork and the Darkseer still playing around the jungle. So they're going to be playing somewhat more carefully. Know exactly where that ward is. Dewarded, not before it had a good amount of effectiveness, but full on that one, Bob. Not even completing the blink as well. Didn't want to get baited in there. Those little plays like that Bob does.
It's just the cute plays of Bob. So they're going to jump in. All right. They know exactly where they are, but the double rebound, son. They're still going to be cautious because Henry with the Darkseer is proving to be a bit of an issue. They've been able to deal with the Tombstone, and now Neon, they can take the team fight. It's a cookie on 4, connecting onto 2. But Palos will finally be able to pivot his attention down towards the jungle, getting involved with the side, but he's in trouble. The Ghost Shroud, I mean, it just sets up for more damage for the Mortimer Kisses. It's a combo that we were mentioning throughout the draft, the Kisses to be able to deal with the Necro. A big kill for Neon to find. Ser is, hang on, Ser, is he going to win this? Oh my lord.
Bobby, I know you've had a good start to the game, but that was a little bit too ambitious coming through. Yeah, you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there, aren't you? You're like, well, do I want to take damage from the Exorcism Spirits physically, or do I want to take the magic damage coming through? He had a full wand as well, right? So he wanted to get the heal amp coming through from that, but I suppose giving the gold over to Set as opposed to Avatar mode does kind of good too, though, doesn't it? Never mind, Avatar mode got the last hit.
Oh, okay. I do like this from Execration. Mine Palace is going to look to move top to play with Tino.
Hold on.
Probably didn't even...
just TP down here. Oh, just off the mark with a hook.
Looks like with them being able to zone away the Queen of Pain, this should be a tier 1 tower traded. Radiant, they do have a bit of a window here, knowing that the EXO is on cooldown, the Mortimer Kiss is on cooldown as well. So if they want to group up for another tower, Palace will be a lot safer in these fights until the ultimates are back up.
Seems like Palace just wants to farm for now, and I understand it. You know, you could take this super greedy farm, you can expand what is still a net worth lead for your team, and just get into that next item. It's going to be just as effective.
Jump onto Ser. Look at the backstab onto Avatar mode now as well. Beautifully done from Tino with the micro. The wraparound was perfect, and they get one into the second, and now the tier 1 tower is going to go down as well. A great play from Execration, recognizing that Neon, they weren't able to take a team fight with the ultimates on cooldown.
Farming as well on Palace the entire time, not even needing to join onto this. So, time once again. Top 3 cores, all on Execration, and it's just going to expand further and further. Cult Bracelet does feel kind of nice, probably for the Marcy. To always give Shanks that mana regen that he needs to stay out on the map. You don't need to buy like a Falcon Blade or a Soul Ring or anything like that on the support. You can just immediately get into the value items.
And you see Shanks is having a pretty good game as well. Level 8 on the Marcy, the same level as the offlane Dark here. Into the Orbit Corrosion. This hero is going to do a lot of damage in these fights. Jump in, Avatar mode. Very scary though for Neon.
Predictions, man.
Ah, yeah, you gotta... do we get any points? Like, I'm still not sure. I haven't checked if there's any achievements for that or anything.
Question. We should. Reward the goodness. Although I'm pretty sure I've been wrong a lot of the time.
Look at Vincenzo's positioning. Putting himself on the front. Trying to pop the smoke and get out with his life. I mean, pop the smoke, but I don't think he'll live. Good shot at the cookie. Vincenzo's going to go down, but the space he's making is well and truly worthwhile. Top lane's getting shoved out. They're forced to glyph the wave. Meanwhile, the other heroes are also farming. Palace already 1,200 gold after the Boots of Travel completed.
Where do we even go here? Oh, just got a 4-star.
He's going to jump into the outpost. He's also going to have Tino playing nearby and won't continue on forward for more.
I know Lotus Orb is very much the standard build on the Necro, but it's not an amazing Lotus game where I feel like it's a pretty damn good.
Uh-oh, this is no good. Fortune Soul is in trouble. Spirit Vessel's out. They might not even need the toss. The damage into the Scythe. A gigantic kill for Execration to find, slowing down the farm progression on the Bristleback. Now top lane, the fight continues. Palace from bottom to top he goes. He's everywhere on the Necro. They've got the Tombstone as well. Firm control of this area as there will be no escape. And this is what we're expecting out of the lineup from Execration. It's not even that. Bob, he snipes the Snapfire behind the T2 tower. So Execration well and truly in the driver's seat in this game one.
Yeah, just the weight of the strength of their timings coming through. The Wraith Pact having a lot more effectiveness in that team fight relative to the pipe on the Darkseer. And kind of felt like they, with this last pick of the draft on Neon with the Darkseer, they were trying to resolve perhaps a slightly poorer lane than they might have been wanting. You know, like what is actually going to pair well together with this position for Clockwork that we've kind of stuck with because we were forced to go a different response to this Undying. But like they're paying the price a little bit. Obviously the very start to the laning phase went all right, but since then it's been all Execration.
I think if they take the T2 tower, Execration just can straight away go back to take Roshan. As soon as they get
live, making sure that the siege creep lives, ensuring that get this tier 2 tower as well. Yeah, you can look to go Roche. Just push in lanes, take the outpost, make sure there's no vision around. Damage is pretty good with the Visage Familiars. I don't think he's got the resummon out just yet, so it's still the level 1 birds with the 5 damage.
What are we looking for coming up shortly here for Neon? Because it's at a stage of the game where this can get out of control very fast if Execration get this next Roche.
Well, I mean, Bristle needs to focus on farming. He can't turn up to fights yet. You're just not anywhere near as effective as you want to be. He's only 500 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter, though, which will feel pretty nice. I just kind of feel like he's going to need the BKB as well, though, in addition to that, because if you don't, then you're just going to get, you know, Reaper's Scythe, you're going to get Grave Chilled, you're going to get Shadow Striked, and then kite it around pretty heavily while the rest of your team dies.
Feels like it's not only the Scepter he needs, but the other item after that, and it's going to take too long. Execration, I have no doubt in my mind they will go high ground before he gets that, with the lead they have and the map control they have, so they're going to do everything they can to funnel all the farming to Fortune Soul. You see him taking a couple of Ancient Stacks. That will at least get him the Scepter.
They're really wanting to get this pick off onto him. Down shield used. He's playing on the correct side of the creep wave, making sure, yeah, he knew it was coming. That is great map sense coming through from Palace there. Playing behind the creep wave, baiting out where he would potentially be looking to move, and look at all the space it's made as well. They're going straight into Roche.
They instantly go to Roche. As soon as Hookshot's on cooldown, Palace like, all right, we can go. They can't really run in now. It's going to be on Enryu, but they are nowhere nearby to be able to contest this. And Execration, now with this Aegis, they can take towers and they can go higher ground, I think, with this.
One of Tino's familiars got sniped by the slam from Roshan, so he's not going to feel great about that, but the greater scheme of things, the objective that he obtained is much more valuable.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
EXE as well. We all know that timing. 15 on the Visage, extra armor corruption. EXE. Be devastating, doesn't it? And this is what I was talking about with the Darkseer. Like, he's not massively behind, but you just don't see a way that he's going to have this significant impact in this next little bit, right?
It's... Yeah, I don't know. I think it has to be a perfect team fight for the Darkseer. It's... I think he can do it, but the fact that Execration have this Aegis advantage just means that their formation can be that much easy to set up where they're not grouping up for the Darkseer to get the combo. I think if you didn't have Aegis, then it might be easier for Enryu to have a little bit more impact in these fights.
Got the build as well. I know it's good against the Marcy and the Visage, but I want to say that the Lotus Orb might be a bit better this game because, again, it's going to stop the Grave Chill, stop the, well, reflect at least the Reaper's Scythe coming through. Just little things like that. And he's already got the Arcane Boots by the energy boost.
Middle tower is
The Crimson, though. Understand it. I feel like you need too many items now on this Darkseer to be truly effective.
He finds Enryu in the tree line. Is he going to guess correctly? He does. Shanks, beautifully done. Keeps on to Enryu. Now the rest of Execration, they've shown up. They've even got to drop the Tombstone as well. And the Scythe to take out Enryu. And they might consider higher ground now with this next creep wave getting pushed in.
It's creep wave, no Darkseer to be able to push it out. Snapfire really doesn't want to put herself up there on the front lines to be able to push it. His best to put himself there, but look at this, you don't even need to commit a hero. Just throw the familiars out there, pop the sidekick onto him, an extra 65 damage coming through for a rapidly hitting familiar. Isn't that fair? Isn't that balanced?
Lovely combo.
It's without the AC as well.
Fortune Soul is getting farm. He's got one component of the BKB. He's going to be able to farm the Ancients another time with Neon positioning in front of him.
Actually used the glyph on that previous wave too.
Oh no, they let him with Fortune Soul. Sam was standing right in front of him, but as soon as the Snapfire leaves to pop the smoke, he's going to be vulnerable. Plus back into the middle. They'll kill him off with no remorse as Bob. Sonic Wave used for good measure, and now they can jump on for Facer. And Enryu and... Oh, okay, I was going to say, yeah. I'm going to be like, I don't know what's going on. They're just standing still. Bob.
Bob's happy with it all. I feel like that was after the fact, though, right? Like, Enryu was there. He was ready to come in with the vac wall combo, but it probably wasn't enough to be able to deal with it.
Hang on, we gotta pose a question. Is Bob going to kill them or let them go?
I think he'll let them go.
Oh, I don't know. I'm really not sure.
They have the follow-up. They don't have stuns, really. Rebound 8 seconds. Visage not there.
Okay.
See? Let it win.
Man of honor. I respect it, Bob.
Let's not go too far.
Uh-oh. High ground.
Siege creep. They aggressively glyph this? They do. They keep the Necro there to heal up for the wave? No, they do not. Okay, so pretty useless glyph.
If Neon can get away with not losing high ground from this first Roche, I can see a chance for them to force a mistake out of Execration.
David thinks it's a 5% chance at the moment. I still don't think you can fight without the BKB, though, on the Bristleback, right? So it's not good enough just to keep your high ground for now. You're still going to be falling further and further behind, just because Bristle won't have safe places to be able to farm it.
They see Bob. Blinked in aggressively. Sam just steps through forward and pops the smoke. They are going to move in, but Bob, he's okay. He's going to blink out to the right side. They've got the kisses. What a combo! Good back wall. Oh my lord! That's what they needed, but they haven't killed many heroes yet. Visage will finally go down. With Execration, they can reset it, go back in as Bob lines up the Sonic Wave. They're now isolated Avatar mode. Scythe, it's going to be available if they can bring down the Death Prophet to a low threshold, and they'll do just that. As Execration, it was a rocky start to the fight, but now they can look to clean up.
Yeah, por Dios for sure. This is why you have to address Enryu, right? Because he's capable of plays like that. 4-man vac wall coming through from this Darkseer. And look at what it results in. They still don't have a comprehensive win in this team fight. They're probably going to lose 4 to get 3 kills. If they could get away on Fortune Soul, having been a part of that team fight, having got a bunch of experience from that, I think he got like nearly a full level from that too, closer towards that BKB, that'll be seen as a win. They don't have left, so he's free to just TP out in their face. Honestly, maybe even Enryu as well, right?
Holy dude, what was that? Oh my
started to
I'm
break.
not gonna-
So many units out there, all the illusions, the tombstone zombies, the spirits. Oh man.
Holy. I mean, I honestly, even though Neon only got 3 kills, and they might lose a 4th, I think Enryu could potentially escape if he can surge onto the high gun and TPR. He might even actually just straight TP
right now. Yeah.
I was thinking the same as well, but I'm just concerned that might be able to go. They don't have Scream. I was going to say Vessel with the whole spot.
If he walks up onto the high ground, maybe he gets hit by the Shadow Strike again, and that's like an extra 120 damage in between your right click, right?
Oh, we get a replay again of it. Look, that has to give Neon a lot of confidence that they can execute a team fight, and we have spoken time and time again, like they do have incredible team fighting. It's just a question of, are they ever going to get an opportunity to be able to hit those ultimates? And they did it once. I can see them doing it a second time. I mentioned that if they can avoid losing high ground off the first Aegis, they can get to a position where you can farm BKB and take a fight for the second Roche. So Neon are not out of this. They are not out of this at all. I think it's not. I'm honestly surprised Gaben says it's a 4% chance.
Yeah, you need to get into your BKB though. You need your Crimson Guard. Enryu, I really don't want him to get the Aghanim Shard. Hopefully he doesn't think that it's still normal punch, although really any great heroes to normal punch, I suppose. You would just use it for the lockdown. That Blade Dagger is going to be far more effective for him, in my opinion. If he's able to land vac walls like that, and then even just buff up the illusions with all the pipe, the Crimson Guard, then it's going to be looking a lot more optimistic for Neon. I still want them to get something like a act as well, though, but right now, he's going into the Glimmer Cape, Clockwork, with Spirit Vessel, both very understandable items, but it's I feel like you just need to withstand that initial burst of damage, you know?
Have you seen this new Surge with the Agshot as well? I'm yet to see it.
In demo mode, it looks like what it says, leaves the slip.
I mean, 50% that's a big slow. So I wonder, I mean, with the Bristleback and a Death Prophet, like heroes that want to be in the middle, I wonder how they're slowing the damage, if it's actually going to be noticeable or not.
Does he even get it, though? I really... Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. For those that aren't aware, VMix is what they use to be able to look at players' cameras. So that's
Oh
that.
my God. Oh, don't say it like that.
Jeez, give me a freaking heart attack, man. Come.
And at least Undying is
in the game.
Well, yeah, in the game, but one of the few heroes I feel like if you have to micro and just drop Tombstone Ultimate, just getting right clicking, maybe chuck a Soul Rip sometimes.
All right, does he TP? Yes or no on Enryu? I say yes.
Yeah, sure, yes.
If he runs to the top of the stairs and TPs, I'll give you the win because you did.
I honestly thought he was going to go to the right stairs. That's when I meant stairs. I think
we'll see.
Fortune Soul will live. He's not going to die. He'll be chilling. He's got a very big wave down bottom and also another one connecting.
If Quap didn't have the Aegis, they would probably go for a turnaround.
Tell me someone saw that.
20 seconds away. I don't think you can kite it for that long.
No, I don't think so either.
What's your favorite of the voice lines that have come out so far?
Oh man, what, dude? There's so many. There's a pretty cool one there, isn't there?
Yeah, Hasta Luego is pretty good. One that was just used, the is good. Wow, I like wow. That just feels like it could be used in situation. It is the Effie laughs of this season. We haven't seen the TI talent voice lines though, so maybe there's going to be another few gems in there.
What about my one?
So anyway, which talent voice line do you think is going to be good?
Yeah, screw you, man.
Go on, let's have a live recreation of your voice line.
No, it does not come out like that.
That's what I thought. If it was good, you would be happy to do it.
I'm spamming it in my own game right now. It's okay.
Actually do that in your pubs.
What, that voice line?
Yeah, your fight.
Oh, I don't have it. I got the Insania one. I love Dota. If I had my own, I would spam it.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, for those that aren't aware, the fight is Ares. I am very jealous that he gets one in the game. So at your pubs, make sure to spam it out from the old battle pass.
I was spamming the Pelos one. Like, dude, you know, it's kind of crazy. I have a voice line in the game. I never thought that would happen. I'm like, yeah, I'll
And now you're
spam
just
it.
used to it. Now you're like, it's expected,
No,
you know?
that's, no, I think it's even crazier that I have one in there. And one's also a little bit more... the other one, the Palos one, was a lot more unique. Like, really, only he could spam it and the team that he was on at the stage. You know the other ones?
Nah, and the team against him when he dies in a situation where he probably shouldn't.
Palos.
Ладно, смотрим дальше.
Come on, guys, I want to play. What's going on? Goaty. You reckon he was? What do you reckon that
Think
means?
that's Goaty or go a thank you?
Play on. Look at these, like, question mark? Playoffs God, I suppose? Yeah,
Maybe.
Kind of cool.
Question. It's still out. Oh, we get to see the replay again. What all players are looking for. Big Vac. Oh, love to see it.
Could have been a question of if they... I need to look at it again to see if would have been even better if you vacuumed them inside the cogs instead. Mortimer
True,
Kisses, you
but-
kind of had to move to the north, and I don't think...
Beggars can't be choosers.
Well, I mean, you kind of can. I mean, this is what they do. You look back at, you analyze games, and if you made a mistake, you need to see what you could have done differently. Beggars can't be choosers.
No. I do not watch my own replays. Like, as soon as the game is done, it is out of my mind onto the next one.
Well, maybe that's why you can't climb over the MMR you're at.
I have a very respectable amount of MMR, okay?
I know you do. I'm quite impressed sitting down at 2.5K.
You're not 2.5K. Don't undersell you.
I think I'm 5. What am I? I think I
You're
was
basically 5 on the dot.
2.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Extra 200 is...
Talk yourself up a little bit.
I mean, extra 200 is kind of... I mean, it's kind of nice. 5K flat and 5.2. That sounds a little better. All right, there we go. Come on,
Okay.
translate. Come on.
Oh my
Your
god. Yeah, my job.
It's not my job.
To know Filipino.
Yeah, well, it's not. That's definitely not my job.
If it was French or Spanish, I could give it a go. But
Yeah, okay, that's
let
where
me
you
just- Let me get my camera out. Okay,
Yeah,
calm
okay,
down.
cool.
Okay, I see admin. That's a word that I know.
I see admin and wait. So...
So I
know.
think they're trying to find out an alternative way to be able to get the VMix camera. It's very important that we have the players that are playing.
Look at all those. I just did
ready. Okay. Runs to the right. Harry is correct again.
He took a little bit too long to TP. I thought he was going to TP on top of the stairs.
I know what you thought. But why didn't you just TP, man?
Fortune Soul. Hang on, they're setting up on him.
Is he fine?
I don't know. They feel like they can get the kill. They've got the Spirit Vessel out as well. Look at the damage that's racking up. Palos, what a movement with Bob peeping in to provide the +1. Oh, no.
They had all this time to think about what they could have potentially done, and they picked literally the worst possible option. Honestly, the Bristleback going up there isn't the worst. I think they did need to go up there and try and push out the waves again, get closer towards that BKB. At least he bought the Mithril Hammer before he died, so he doesn't have any unreliable gold still. But, I mean, Darkseer absolutely did not need to die there. If he didn't die, he has the Crimson Guard right now.
We are looking at really at one big fight here for Neon when they get everything up. BKB, Crimson, when their ultimates are back up as well. The kind of concern though is that I don't know what they can do to keep the Death Prophet alive in this next fight, because Avatar Mode not having BKB, they will just scythe him, and that is a big target to take out if you get rid of the damage from the EXE as well. So I've got some. This DP is going to be able to stay alive, and you need to be positioned middle. It's not like you can position defensively.
Yeah, and I feel like you're going to be assisted with that. Honestly, it feels pretty worth it to be searching the Death Prophet at this stage. Past this bottom lane's being pushed in though by Enryu. He knows incredibly well how to do just how to influence lanes, how to force bad reactions out of people so that he can come in when it's truly impactful for him to part of it. Although caught underneath vision right now and vacuum, so caught out here without being able to surge away. Great use of the Sonic.
You
push back into Palos
entirely. It's space. I know he's a core, but he's got his Crimson Guard, and Bristle still does not have the old Bekebe.
I think you consider smoking now for Neon with Sonic Wave and Reaper Scythe forced out. So when you get the respawn on the Darkseer, when the BKB gets delivered for Fortune Soul, it's go time. And especially now with the ultimates on cooldown. And you see Ser as well. Snapfire is going to move over towards Radiant's Triangle, try and drop the ward down. This is where they're going to look to smoke, or potentially to their own triangle where they have a ward already set up. Nothing more now, it's gone.
25 minutes, they've finally done it. Pick up one of these items. Do they go for a smoke on Neon after they get at least this first wave pushed out? I feel like you've got the potential to it. Yeah, there we go. Straight away, just keep the siege creep there. Don't want to reveal all that much. Have a pretty good idea of a lot of these movements from Neon, making sure to get the outpost control before they had the time to potentially be able to connect with all those respawns.
Oh no. Oh, I hate
Getting
to see
revealed.
Yep. Perfect positioning from Tino and the Familiars. Slow, it's able to get out. They're going to look to try and play behind the T1, so the creep wave mid that's beating into the T1 tower.
Layhard's not there anymore though, like he's away from the rest of the team, and understandably he needs to get into the Spirit Vessel, but you're not able to get that initial lockdown that you need, the burst chaos coming through to enable one of those crazy back walls to happen if Clockwork's just not there.
They have another smoke on Dial?
Just bought one.
It's unfortunate because Palos is now going to kill off this ancient camp, and this should give him enough gold for the BKB. So now you've already got an answer to the Spirit Vessel because of how late it came out. I guess can kind of help burst down the Visage with a little bit of extra damage over time, but it'll have to be a perfect fight for Neon to bring themselves back in this game one. 18,000 deficit.
Long Roche respawn. What that favors. I mean, yes, it's important to be able to get into, you know, your level 18 on the Bristle. Some items are going to be nice. The Titan Sliver, just for the little bit of magic resistance, it could be quite good. Someone like Pain. Quite level 18 as well on Bristle. He's got some phase boots. 27.5 minutes, so little bit less capable of being kited around in addition to the old BKB. See how lucky they are with some of their items coming through. What are we thinking? Maybe a Paladin Sword for Fortune Soul? Tunic will do.
Tunic will definitely help out. They do see Palos farming over towards the triangle, so they know he's not with the team at the moment. They are going to need another ward on a cliff to be able to take this fight. You cannot take it blindly with the lineup they have. You need to see all of Execration grouped up.
I think you just got to go for the backstab. You got to try and find Palos off on his own. They see that the Visage is up top with his familiars.
Oh, he's going to pop the smoke.
Yeah, great positioning, Bob.
And Palos sights the talk.
He could BKB if he wants right now.
And he's trying to connect to the team. He gets the force on the high ground. Oh, this is disastrous. And up Bob, it just jumps into the middle. A gigantic sonic wave is
great tombstone.
Protected with the Glimmer Cape, but only for a moment. As now Enryu, he's in trouble as well. The side, not enough, but at least it holds him down for them to get the kill afterwards. And look at the instant TP. Palos, he's going to join Tino because he's up to his rack game. Tier 3 tower gone. Barracks soon to fall.
Good positioning from Palos as well, just putting his body in the way, realizing that, well, without Darkseer and Snapfire magic damage, there's no way I'm going to die. I've got physical damage reduction with a Ghost Shroud, I've got my BKB, sustaining a lot of this push moving forward, and they don't have Glyph. What happens when you've got a Marcy paired together with a Visage? It's just way too much damage.
Oh, it's Megas. They're not dealing with Mega creeps.
Shots available. You got to hit this on play hard. On the retreat, maybe. Waited too long. Giving all this up for free. What a fight that's in this really clumped up space. Got all of these abilities that are really going to be effective with that. Bristleback with his QW spam. Exorcism Spirits, back wall, Cogs, the Mortimer's Kisses. There was ever a time to go in onto them. It's when they're on this high ground or when they're close to the dire triangle with the stairs heading up there. They're very small choke points.
This is that even smaller choke point with the Roche. Player's going to scout them out, but instantly Execration recognize if we're ever going to lose a fight, it is when we are all grouped up inside the pit.
You gotta kill a squishy hero first. You don't have any spirit.
Look at Bob. He's jumping onto the clockwork on the right side. Bob's just gonna pop a BKB. Standing toe to toe, but the hook shots out with the chain control will not be an option. Bob's once again targeting down the clockwork. They'll secure the kill and towards the middle of the fight. The scythe is there to cut away any hope of the Darkseer. Fortune Soul is trying to do whatever he can, but they are kiting the BKB. They're trying to run down Tino, but he's got the Greatkeeper's Cloak active to keep him protected. This honestly should be all she wrote through the team fight. Fortune Soul, they'll get the kill afterwards, and now Avatar mode is next on the chopping block. As with all this going on, the tier 4 towers are getting beat down upon, and the G's are dropped as Execration. What an incredibly well executed game one.
For sure. I mean, to me, it kind of goes back to the draft with what we were saying before. You know, Bob, he was really set up.
I would love to see being a professional gamer is actually worth your time and like you can make a living out of it. I'd obviously like for it to be a professional sport like any of the sports out today, and if they've grown It's gonna take time, first of all. A lot of the world isn't really open to like gaming and online gaming and stuff like that, and especially around here, if you talk about, oh, I'm a professional gamer, they're like, you're a what?
Fear Darkness was like an idol for all the North American players. I just respect him a lot as a person and as a player.
Fear 这个人呢，其实一直都知道他是美国队长嘛，他是EG的灵魂吧。
When I was younger and just playing video games for fun, I didn't have an end game at all, and I thought after a few years it would probably catch up to me, but somehow like it just caught on and it just became very popular, and I became successful doing it. To be able to be on a top team, you need to play, like 6 to 9 hours a day at the bare minimum. The thing that happened that almost made me quit entirely was when I got my first arm injury. Like, I had no idea if it was going to heal or not, and I was like really scared that my career would be completely over at that point.
I think the most challenging part of it was the timing. The diagnoses from the doctors is kind of vague. We thought he was getting better.
I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, why'd this have to happen to me? Like, I've been playing my whole life, and all of a sudden I just can't play anymore, right when I have the biggest opportunity of my life.
After like a month or two, I was like, okay, this really isn't going away at this point. And then eventually it's like, okay, there's no way I can practice right now, and there's no way I'm going to be able to compete at TI because of how much time this has already taken away.
I think what kept me going after I got my injury was just, like hope, like hoping that it would heal and I'd be able to play again, because it's a huge motivator for me. It's like I had an injury and then I missed the biggest tournament of the year because of it on a team which I had a good shot. I just hoped my arm would heal and I'd have one more opportunity to get the championship.
I have so much respect for Clinton and all the time he has put into this game, and if anybody deserves to win the international, it's him.
Fear, coming off of a pretty serious injury, does it do anything for the confidence of the whole team having him back and a part of it?
I think everyone on our team has the utmost faith in him to be a strong player that we know he can be. He's also our carry player, so a lot of the game rests on his ability to help us win.
When Fear rejoined EG after his injury, I really look up to the way he made that team function. I think a lot of it was on him, and he didn't get the kind of credit from the outside that I think he should have gotten.
They just need a couple of kills to be TI 5 champions. Fear, fully wicked sick. They're going to bring in the Titanic as well for Fear while the push continues.
Clinton has a huge amount of experience, and I think he puts really good use to it. Whenever people ask me, is there any player you look up to? I mean, for sure, the way he played a core role for EG, that's a way I can only hope to play.
It looked rough dropping down the lower bracket. They have persevered. And they will claim the Aegis of the Immortal. They are the champions here in front of their home crowd.
Right after we won and we're holding the trophy up in front of the crowd, everyone was cheering. We're on home soil as well, so it was just insane. Everyone was yelling USA, USA. We just sat there and just took it all in. Didn't really have much to say. We're just kind of enjoying the feeling.
Give it up for your TI 5 champions, Evil Geniuses!
I mean, at the current state and time, it means a lot, but 10 years from now, will people remember me? Probably not, to be honest with you, but the fact that in this moment that I dedicated so much of my life to be a champion, it means a lot to me, so I'll never forget it.
Point for the upper bracket semifinals. Tong Fu taking on the fan favorite Navi.
When we picked Bai Chen,
We were sure we're gonna crush the game early on.
Navi's trailing. No, they pick it. They took the punch. You can see Dendy smiling right now. Oh, yeah. He wanted it bad, and Puppy gave it to him.
Yeah, for some reasons, that game it didn't work out.
Vacuum back into the call down. Dindy biting up more than he can chew. He will be cleaned up. Now Puppy caught out in the middle of the fight.
We were getting stronger and stronger.
In this point of the game, there is nothing else in the whole game that can change anything.
And Tong Fu is beginning to grind Navi down. They got a 5-kill lead, right around 5,000 gold to their advantage.
This is really troublesome for Navi.
The game was on the edge, and we could lose it like any moment. I was sure about that. We knew we needed to do something, so we started to try something out.
Tong Fu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howell brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain.
但是突然被勾的时候，其实一开始，因为那局我们优势很大嘛，一开始会觉得也没什么，下次注意一点就行了。
Dandy said, this is the only way we can win the game. Us two, just doing that stupid stuff. I was like, all right, let's go.
Dandy's gonna try it again. Can he? Got him that time. See you in the base move.
Whenever I saw enemy around, I would ask Papi TP me. He would TP me and I would try hooking.
Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him.
Fountain hook, fountain hook, fountain hook. It would continue. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? You know, just keep it up.
然后结果他不停的go，就感觉怎么说呢？就感觉很神奇吧。
Tong Fu didn't know what to do. Like they actually screwed up quite a lot.
It's hard to stay calm. Mentally, you're panicking. Apocalypse is happening in your head.
He just goes to Tong Fu.
Gyrocopter as Aegis to siege high ground. You know, everybody knows the simple road to victory. The game should be done as simple, but he just got removed.
Oh, he got him! He got him! They're on their feet. They're chanting. All it took was one fountain hook.
Howell playing Gyrocopter could have simply just TP'd after the hook. He could have just TP'd back home.
然后最后就是被勾回去了，2条命死了，然后就导致最后的一个比赛输掉嘛，就非常的遗憾。
The fact of the matter is, like a player that was on point probably would have still won that game as Gyrocopter. Probably should have never gotten hooked. Probably. But DOTA is a lot like life, you know? Shit happens, you have to deal with it.
Hooking Tong Fu players with Chen teleport was one of the most amazing things that I've done. It was vicious, and I was part of it.
I was very angry watching the game. It's not really so much against Navi as against the rules.
A lot of people were saying it's very unfair or wrong. We came into the player lounge and I saw a lot of screaming.
Remove that from the game. That was the biggest joke I've ever seen. The biggest fucking joke I've ever seen.
There's these rules about bug abuse, but what is bug abuse and what is not. I'm still a bit salty about it, I think.
Like, how can you win? How can you even be allowed to win that way? Tong Fu had that game. Is that balanced? You hook a guy with Aegis? It should be. Oh my fucking god.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Disqualification.
Yeah, he was definitely like, you guys don't deserve it or something like that. And they're like, whatever, dude.
Let them try this thing. They can do it, go on, try this thing.
You have to respect the skill that it took for those fountain hooks to happen. If it was completely broken and super easy to do, everyone would be doing it. They weren't afraid to try it or make it happen.
I was sure the game was fair, even after like I heard those screamings.
因为在我们那个中国人眼里，就是觉得输了就是输了，就是不会说因为它全日勾是一个可能相对来说比较不太平衡的一个东西吧，然后会去埋怨什么东西。我们就觉得输了就是我们自己技不如人吧，包括国内的也都会觉得对方会觉得对方打得厉害，不会说因为这个东西太 bug 了或者怎么着。
这也是下一年赢得 TI 的一个原因吧，但是当时我没有找他们讨论过这个问题吧。 我怕提起他们的伤心事，他们打我。
Some exploits are fun and good. This was one of them. Maybe a bit too strong, but still.
It was too strong.
就之后削掉的倒是就是没什么了嘛。
You can discredit the game, but in reality, like, Dota is still the same. You can still win games in the most weird ways that haven't been seen or done.
It's the same for everyone, so it's fair for everyone, and that's just kind of a part of the way Dota tournaments go.
She's very active, smiley, happy, all the time energized. You think, wow, where does she get all this energy?
Who is this
Casey.
因为他是一个应该是主食吧。
Casey is, I mean, she's what do you call it? A hostess?
My job at TI is to make the players look good. I want to know how they're feeling in the moment and allow the audience to get to know them in perhaps a way they haven't yet. How are you feeling about the tournament so far? What has been the highlight for you?
Having a diarrhea every single day.
What was that?
Having a diarrhea every single day.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely. I'm going to send it back to James. Thank you again.
Ice. He's just really good at making situations awkward.
You didn't mean diarrhea. You mean diary, like you wrote your diary this morning. And they're like, nope, diarrhea. Oh, God. Folks, I heard him right. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew it made me feel uncomfortable. And I respect him for that.
She was really good at taking the awkwardness and making it really funny.
We rolling? How about now? We rolling? When you're first talking to them, players take a little bit of time to warm up to you. And then you ask them to scream, you expect them to go, 1, 2, 3. You win. I was sent to the Players Lounge to interview Ice. And keep in mind, I don't know anything about the game. I haven't been watching it. I don't recognize the professional players. So you're going to be playing tonight in the one-on-one championship, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you Ice?
No.
What's your name?
I'm not.
Are you Michael?
No, they're trolling you.
This entire room is going, hi. How's it going? That's right. I immediately went back to when I was in middle school and everybody was laughing at me for something. I have no idea what it was. There's something going on.
Neil, they're going to have to pull something out of the hat here because game one did not look good at all.
No, it did not. They're going to need to pull something out of their ass, is what they're going to need to do.
Whoa, hang on.
You've gotten away with a few already today. Don't you start. You've been off the entire time. I do like the fact that they're getting... No, I've counted 3. The Marcy getting banned out. It's kind of a thing, but then, yep, why not just go straight into the Undying? I still don't hate the Snapfire or potentially the Mirana response to this, just because particularly the Mirana, because it's so much in Playhard's wheelhouse, right? And that's the way that I feel is going to be more successful for them, is just being able to pick up this offlane duo early on. Again, the downside to that is you don't give Enryu the win condition. He's even drafting. Chat can't see it, but we can. He's even drafting. So even though Chuan's the one sitting at his computer, he's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, man. Like they got to just pick up something that's going to work well together. But at least they fulfilled that condition that you were wanting from the previous game in making sure that you have last pick. So you're always going to be able to get the better matchup against. Does feel already a bit more like a Neon draft, just with the Chen.
Considering we saw them played in 2 out of the 3 games versus Atlantis. Previous series.
Face the light.
Dawnbreaker up. Very interesting. Was not particularly expecting them to go down this, considering I feel like Undying lanes pretty well into the Dawnbreaker, does it not?
It does, but it doesn't deal massively well with what happens later on. Do you flex this Undying to a different position? call me a spammer if you want, but Wyvern's great against Chen and Dawnbreaker. Maybe that's why Neon picked it up. They're thinking that the Undying just cannot be flexed in this situation, but I think you can Wyvern and you've still got the potential to throw it mid if you wanted to. I guess Razor's fine as well. Now they're just going to get rid of a lot of these BKB piercing disables. Faceless Void is one of them. Maybe they're just going to go down the route of like a Morphling perhaps as well ban. If they're not going to stop like a Bloodseeker ban or a Beastmaster or anything else along those lines.
Well, you can even consider banning unless you want to pick it yourself on Execration.
5 seconds remaining.
Look, you've been singing for the Winter Wyvern to be picked up, and if there was ever a game for it to be played into a Chen and Dawnbreaker, like those are two heroes that Wyvern deals incredibly well with. So I just don't know, no priority on it at the moment in John.
They're just haters, these players. They're haters, that's all it is.
The Winter Wyverns, so not just yet, but Execration, they've gone back into something that they are very comfortable in the Razor. Palace can play it, Tino can play it, give it over to multiple heroes in their side lanes.
Really like that Primal Beast ban. You got to be so careful if you're showing your position 5 and it's not one that has some kind of escape mechanism.
10 seconds remaining.
Chen obviously doesn't fit the bill for that. Might lead them down the route of going into something like a TA for themselves, but TA into Razor doesn't exactly feel that amazing either. So we'll see. Let's see what route they go down. Tino Razor's very much a staple for him. So would have to assume that that's what the lane's going to be. They could run Shanks on the Undying too. It doesn't necessarily need to be Vinci.
We did see them as well just last game. They played the Undying in the side lane, so they have the capability to play it in a different lane. Even if they do give it to Vincenzo, they're happy with swapping it up for the moment. But there is that Beastmaster ban, like you were mentioning. There's Plot ban, like try and protect the Razor as much as they can. What was left through the pool that you said though? Morphling, I think you said. Was there another one?
Morphling, Bloodseeker.
Yep.
Early-ish timing pairs together reasonably well with the Chen. There are many creeps that you can get early on that are going to enable the Blood Right to hit laning stage. Just Ghost creep or a little Troll creep that's able to get the net off. Just stuff like that, you know.
I wonder if Neon are going to be able to find, because I think you have to pick your other support here. They will, and the Shaman, a very peculiar pick, but the Shaman's
They
able
wanted
to
to end the game in 25 minutes.
They definitely have the caliber to do the heroes, the capability, I should say. But also, Shadow Shaman versus Undying's very nice with the Serpent Wards. You don't have to commit with your heroes to be able to deal with it. It gives you form of control versus the Razor. Although, if Razor pops BKB, Shaman's dead. Like, this matchup can be very, very difficult to play between the two.
I feel like they're just going to Bloodseeker at the end of this phase. Probably not going to be picking it up on Execration. Elder Titan's a nice little way to store things out, though. Could this even be played as a core, with all of the Chen creeps available? Aghanim Scepter, kind of nice. Nothing really going to be stopping him from doing high damage. More likely to be a 4, but you never know.
5 seconds remaining.
I think if Neon go for I mean, Execration probably going to have to reveal. So, I guess you pick your mid here. Don't you pick your mid just to keep the Razor flex?
I don't think you can afford to. Like, Bob's been playing too well. They want to keep it hidden for as long as possible just to ban out some of the counters for whatever they want to go for. And you know the offlane's most likely going to be Dawnbreaker Shadow Shaman, right? So it's something that you just want to be able to address with an Undying to back you up. Dying into the Dawnbreaker feels quite nice. Maybe kind of aggressive thing. Okay, well, go mid, but Conker's pretty good against this Chen push. Again, benefit from all this stalling that's happening.
And he doesn't see his lane matchup. So Conker is going to be able to fare pretty well into a majority of lanes. Trying to think on... Now for Neon, you probably look for your mid laner as well, and they're going to Storm Spirit. So...
It's fine.
It's... Yeah, it's not
Storm
bad.
has a surprising amount of mana. Sorry, armor. So I think it's going to be just A-okay. It's something that's able to get in onto the back lines in these early fights. You've got a way for your team to join you as well with the Dawnbreaker coming through. Takes a lot of focus off of the Chen and the Shadow Shaman. So you just get onto that ET, burst him down. Suddenly you feel much more confident in a lot of these teams. There we go. More gone as well. Really wanting to enable this Razor to have the best game possible. So maybe it's a one Razor coming out here for Palace this game. I think this is far too many bans being used just to protect an offlane rate.
10 seconds remaining.
What do we feel like Execration are lacking, regardless of what they, you know, with the 4 heroes they have at the moment?
Lockdown.
What do they need to? Okay, so we're looking at more than likely position 3. Then is going to be able to provide that lockdown.
Potentially. I'm just thinking, could you run the Kunkka into it? But you don't really need to, right? Chen isn't an issue that early on. So I think it's going to be Kunkka mid and, yeah, just something that's able to provide a little bit of that extra lockdown for Tino offlane. So what's that going to be? Is it going to be a Mars? Is it going to be... Is this a Tidehunter game? Could be.
Too bad. It's definitely not too bad at all.
Hudge a little, maybe? A ranged hero instead, but there aren't amazing heroes to go with. DK kind of provides lockdown. Pseudo ranged as well.
Well, we've seen Neon there in a little bit of two minds at the moment, with the anti-mage and the Lina ban. So I guess both bans are looking to protect the Storm Spirit. However, if they do flex the Conquer and go for the Lina to play into the Storm, it's got a very good lane matchup. As a game as well, you depend on your item build, you are able to deal with the Storm Spirit with a little bit of control. So they covered their tracks with the last pick, Execration. They're going to go down the Alchemist route. I think PA looks... PA is the pick. I think PA is the pick.
Yeah. Instant ways to join the team fights. You got the burst against an Alchemist who doesn't have the greatest amount of armor or built into it early on. Way to be able to get away from the static link. It's pretty nice. I agree. Proud of though. We got to give these people options.
Yeah.
Are they considering a Medusa here? Just because they banned out the anti-mage and the Lina, who are traditionally two kind of good matchups into it?
I think it was more to protect the Storm, but yeah, sure, they can be considering it. Spark's another thing you might be considering. Fortune Soul's already played it so far through the qualifiers, and there's a lot of beefy heroes to be playing into. He might be a little bit slow though, which is my concern. And maybe that's another concern with the Medusa, because I feel like Execration are going to group up very, very early with like Alchemist, Radiance, BKB.
I think regardless of what they pick, it needs to be a high armor hero, because you've got, well, a hero that buys into a lot of armor, you know, because you're up against an Elder Titan. They're Bloodseeker through, so don't hate that. And you're an Agi hero. Buy that much armor though, but you're up against a Razor who, with the Eye of the Storm, is going to do minus armor. You're up against the Acid Spray, even more minus armor, and you're up against the position 4 Elder Titan that's going to get a little bit more farm than most ETs tend to do with the Natural Order. So that is not much armor that you've got to be able to play with. I feel like if you're out of position, you're going to get melted pretty.
We were looking for some other carry heroes, and just going back to the one that you mentioned earlier on in the draft, Fortune Soul picking up the Bloodseeker. So you've got great ways to be able to deal with Tino with the Rupture through BKB. So Tino's game is going to be a little bit more difficult. Even Palace as well, if you want to Rupture the Alchemist, someone who needs to be mobile throughout these fights. I like the last pick a lot. I feel like it's... Is it enough though? That's the question. That's my big concern with Neon's lineup here, because Execration, they can look to get aggressive very early on once they hit their item timings, probably like 17 minutes in, and they are all guns a go. All guns a blazing.
It's a hero with early-ish timings as well, which I kind of like. Right? Like, all you really need is that Maelstrom BKB plus upgraded boots, I guess. And you're able to get active with the rest of your team, who also excels at around that sort of same time period. The other thing that I also want to mention is the mid lane matchup. Obviously, as a Kunkka, you don't necessarily need to go into this bottle build. We saw a couple of braces be done in recent games, and I suppose. But the main thing is there's no one really that wants to reliably rope on Execration towards our runes just to make sure that Storm isn't getting them. Whereas I feel like the Shadow Shaman's going to be able to do so. Not the fastest hero, but Dawnbreaker is much more capable of being left solo compared to a Razor. I feel like if Razor gets left solo, you're going to get jumped by a Bloodseek, a Chen combination, and probably die. Not so much with that escape.
And with the potential for their TI qualifier run to be over here on Neon, do we feel like they have what it takes to send it to a Game 3?
I think they got what it takes, for sure. But they need to build and respect the minus armor opponents that I was talking about. Weren't scouted out by this observer ward, by the way, to the right-hand side of the Radiant Outpost. So, little hidey hole here. Maybe going to try and catch out someone and pick that first blood if Alchemist walks inside their vision. He hasn't just yet. Both walking out. Ser, is he crossed that border? He seems to know the exact location of any kind of vision. Playhard eventually moves on forward and will actually put it in place to be able to get that vision onto the high ground. But who's there to actually put something up there? No flying crows exist yet.
Does Hammer give vision? I'm not sure.
No, but not that you would want to spend it this early either. The Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, you don't have the greatest mana pool. Maybe they'll wait for flying couriers. Just wait that one out. It's going to take quite some time to be able to find it. But in the end, 2 for 2 in regards to the bounties. Have the creeps meet the second time this series at the mid lane. Bob on the Conquer Avatar mode on the Storm Spirit. You were mentioning that the Storm Spirit is someone who has a decent amount of armor early on, up to 5. So do you feel like Avatar mode should be well and truly okay in this matchup? Is there any levels that he's a little bit more weak against the Conquer?
I saw the look in your eyes.
I think he's just going to be okay. I mean, all throughout, Kunkka's always this irrepressible force that's always just going to be harassing you for free. Look at Avatar mode. He's already, well, not out of regen, but the bottle's going to come at a very welcome time, let's say that much. Constantly getting harassed down. He'll probably be down to about, 100 HP after the next Tidebringer. Actually misses with it on Bob. That's characteristic from him.
Is this a concern, though, that like Bob is going to have a very good lane? I guess this is the one thing, because they did pick the Conquer not knowing what the mid matchup was going to be. So usually this hero has a good time regardless, but like you picked the Storm to it. So it's not like they're both going to farm, but you're not shutting down Bob. Is this a concern? Because we've seen him just pop off time after time in these qualifiers.
A little bit of a concern for sure. I'm coming through there. The thing is, they didn't just pick it thinking, okay, Kunkka just beats everything in the lane. They made sure to pick it when they had the option to be able to ban Alina. They made sure it was done after the Queen of Pain had already been banned out as well. So I like the fact that even when they can't give Bob this like winning matchup, they're still going to give him one that's at the very least drawing even very easily.
They're off to a fine start at the mid lane, but in other lanes, see how Palos has been able to shape himself up here with the Alchemist. It's a much better laner than the Alchemist has ever been. He's paired with an Undying though, so do you feel like these two have a decent amount of synergy in the lane? Can they get kills?
Not really. I think the biggest issue for me is the movement. Because as long as Playhard's not in a terrible position, he should always be in a pretty fine spot to be able to get away from a lot of this aggression. Does want to be right-clicking though, because he's got those 2 Fairy Fires picked up and lines for Palos, just trying to find him out. Palos needs to be playing farming as much as he can. I think he denied away the Flag Bearer creep, which is always a big benefit coming through. All of that snowball-y gold. Now dying into one squishy hero and one strength hero. Chenzo could feel pretty confident with just continuously moving forward and getting the harass off. The main issue for me, though, is that they don't exactly have a slow to be able to catch up and make full usage out of this unstable concoction and acid spray combo.
Lastly, with our top lane here, Shanks on the Elder Titan. Do we feel like, how's his impact going to be against the Chen? Is this a lane that Seh should be able to secure the farm for the Bloodseeker, which was the last pick for Neon, or are there going to be some issues for securing Fortune Soul's lane?
I think he should be able to do it, but of course you're also susceptible to just being run down. Again, Chen, one of those heroes that's very good at sustaining once you get to the 10 or so minute mark of the game, but Shanks is doing a really good job just to consistently lock up on these camps, make sure that Chen doesn't have anything to be able to play around the lane. He right clicks in, like the early point in the natural order as well, just with how much you're wanting to spam out that Astral Spirit. It means that you're always going to have the mana to be able to do so.
Bottom lane. And up on first blood, Palace. Full duration charge up of the concoction. And he's got that level in the acid spray as well, as Palace will swipe away first blood. And a little bit of extra gold to the Alchemist, which will soon be the Boots of Speed completed.
They were waiting for the time where the Celestial Hammer had been used to secure a range creep. As soon as you don't have that movement potential, that's when they look to go on forward. So good recognition there from Execration to what was going to enable a successful team fight. Well, getting the D-ward off, pull through. Actually putting a few more points into the Decay as well, really wanting to secure this lane for his team.
Now this mid lane as well is going to get pretty chaotic shortly with the level 6s coming out. If Bob's able to find his level 6 just before Avatar mode, then he will have some kill threat on the Storm Spirit. Of course, that Ball Lightning being used to be able to kind of zip to disjoint the combo. So it does look like Bob's going to find his beforehand. It's also a lane that is, I'll hold that thought, bottom lane, Vincenzo. Drop the Tombstone before they get the kill. Neon, they're going to look to try and turn to deal with it, but they've already lost the life at Play Hard. And Ryu should be okay. On the other side of the map, we do see the Chen go down as well. So multiple kills in both side lanes for Execration.
Got the Chen behind the tier 1 tower just with the old Astral Spirit there on Shanks. So good microing, being able to scout him out there. Alice just rising again at this stage of the game. Doesn't have the movement speed or the slows to be able to completely chase down Hero.
Avatar mode, he's in trouble. Look at the rotations from Execration and the use of the boat. It's perfectly timed. It doesn't matter that points the shackles. They're going to turn to try and kill off the Shadow Shaman with a perfect placed taunt. They'll hold him down.
Regen.
But Avatar mode, that's important though. You've wasted out that opportunity where if you kill the Storm Spirit with the catapult wave, it would have been a lot of damage into the tower. So Storm, he stays alive, he finds the regen rune, and you also kite out that Conquer boat usage. Very nicely done from Neon.
You did not earn it.
Little plays like that can turn the tide of some of these lanes. So wants to be helping around this mid lane as well, but I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. The Undying. Now that Storm has that movement ability for Lightning, into the movement, they're getting in on top of Tino. 3 of the Hurl Boulder. That slows retreat a little bit, but still at least pushing back underneath the tower and easier time for this Bloodseeker. How effective that was going to be, the Bloodseeker pick this game. But
bottom lane
down bottom here.
Onto the Alchemist. Avatar mode feels like he's required for the little bit of extra damage, and he'll yoink that kill away from Ryu. It does leave mid open, so you see the damage that Bob and Vincenzo are dishing out onto the tower.
I like the fact that they're just completely ignoring the creep wave as well, all during that. Bob's like, oh, I'd rather get the damage into the tower. It was unfortunate as well that Avatar mode TP'd in onto, so the regen rune went away. If that wasn't the case, then he would have been able to slowly zip his way back towards the mid lane and not have lost so much. His rotation says in a bit of a scary position here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Gotta be cautious.
To push. We've got power runes spawning up again. This time around, the top one's not being protected, despite how close, as well as Bob are. Samo just getting away with a few freebies here.
Step lively now.
Bottom lane, Henry might be in a bit of trouble. Bob's going to look to TP down there, get the concoction, but I think he's far enough away on Enryu unless the torrent lands. But he just slips to the right, dodging the torrent. And they're going to look to smoke down. Enryu doesn't have enough mana for the Solar Guardian just yet, so it's going to be relying onto the Storm Spirit damage to try and bring down Conquer. There we go, there's the Solar Guardian, and the body blocks. Avatar mode keeps Bob locked into place so they can get the extra damage out of the Dawnbreaker ultimate. They've still got to respect Execration though. They stomp into the Tombstone, but look at the call from Neon. Once again, they turn their attention to deal with the building, but Vincenzo, he's brought down one. He too will still fall, but Shanks, he's just cleaving them apart. Getting the right clicks going. He'll clean up Neon.
We're asking for the core Elder Titan, but we know Shanks, he plays basically like one anyway. Going into the phase boots, getting this really nice micro off with the Astral Spirit just to be hitting like a complete truck of a businessman with his... It's not a lid brief. What is that? Some Thanos gauntlet?
Some, I don't know, crappy crap. It is probably the Thanos gauntlet. I haven't seen the Briefcase in quite some time. Everyone used to mention it. You smack him down. Well, this is, at least, you know, it's... Because game one was very, very dominant from Execration. But game two, it's looking pretty even. Neon, slight net worth lead, nothing crazy. Who do you feel like is a little bit happier with the status quo of this game? Because Execration, they do have an Alchemist lineup, but have Neon done enough early on to kind of slow down Palos?
I think they have. Like, he's not gotten to the super scary position just yet. You can see that he's about 1.7k gold away from picking up the haste rune there on Bob. Chenzo might give his life up for free unless this, never mind, doesn't come through. Tanks gets away too. I was just saying, like, Neon are about to hit this period where they hit their first lot of item timings. Fortunately, dying though, not part of the plan.
Not at all. They're going to be able to drag him back into Razor's damage. Looking to unlock Tino, who's just been freely farming up in the lane. Nothing too crazy with the Razor. Decent amount of net worth, but finally Bob is able to connect to the Razor, who does have a catapult wave as well. So this tower is going to be under a little bit of pressure.
A lot of pressure, you would think. Andrew just trying to stay as far away, trying to put his own pressure onto this bottom side and TP up top if needed. The thing that really makes that even worse than what it originally feels, if you lose this tower, it's not great, but you've given up the opportunity for a lot of timings to come together all at once. You've got the mech now finished on the Chen. You've got the Shadow Shaman with the Mass Serpent Wards once the Tome comes on the Courier. You've got Storm going into the Orchid. Not quite there just yet, but he'll be there close enough. And Dawnbreaker doesn't even need that many items. Dual Bracer, Soul Ring, that's all you really need. So if you had the Maelstrom on top of all of that, maybe you take a few successful team fights and use that to shove the lanes in and take away some of this space that Alchemist has to farm. But like, with that death, just delayed.
The Outpost play hard. He's going to be able to drop the Surfboards, blocking Tino into place. They got the Blood Riot follow-up as well. Tino's going to go down. They need more kills out of this, and they'll find it on Neon. Tombstone plus the kill onto Vincenzo. Beautifully done as they're bringing their numbers to reclaim their own jungle.
Got away though, and it wasn't. He walked off along just to the right side. Nothing too stealthy, I would say.
Not too crazy. Says unfortunately not going to be able to get away though. Palos with the help of Bob, able to get the kill, and well, Palos has got. This is really nice, in fact, that they TP down to get rid of the Chen. They're going to be able to deal with these creeps. It gives Palos all the jungle, the next wave as well. So there's a lot more free farm here for the Alchemist. Is he going to get these creeps?
Needs his time.
Palos, he's sticking around for quite some time.
Just let the Acid Spray do the work. Oh, Sacred Relic picked up, so saved from a lot of that unreliable gold being lost. Damage to be able to get into that Radiance super early on. Gonna be nice against the Chen creeps. With the army coming through, force out a little bit of an earlier mech or a little bit of an earlier Hand of God always feels quite nice. Oh God, still not into it yet at the 13-minute mark. The impact of that reduced experience that you're able to get, or rather the increased experience needed to be able to level up.
See if they make the attempt onto Pelos. It has to be Avatar mode to start, but he's already got that Chemical Rage activated. Pelos is going to move back towards the triangle where he has gigantic stack waiting for him. Looks like he's going to hold out for the Radiance until he wants to claim this, but Neon, they have a lineup to invade. I really want to see them try and keep tabs on the triangle. Now, you need to take this out of the hands of Execration. Bob's going to take it? Take it. Looks like Bob wants it.
I think he could
classic Bob.
No, it's fine. The thing that's causing them to do this is that they've got a lot of this vision up around where their tier 1 mid tower used to be. So they can see exactly the positioning coming through from Ser and Enryu as well. Playhard. Clearly, seeing Playhard's position wasn't enough to enable Shex to get away. That's a killing spree given over. So lots of valuable gold to that Storm Spirit who... Oh, it's a regen rune and has the Orchid coming out. So this is a really big deal coming through right now. If they can look to find the Alchemist, he's the one that's scaling. He's the one that's going to win you the game. He is a big part of your damage potential as well. So backing up, smoking, find the Alchemist who, wouldn't you know it, is farming right next to one of these observer wards. They'll see the acid spray. Got to look on the map.
Oh, they just get a glimpse of him.
Yep,
so
there we go.
Where he is. I think he's too close to a
well worth the
tower.
dive. It's
You reckon?
Well worth it, man.
Oh,
they got the
Shex
damage
is nearby.
with an Orchid.
He can counter-initiate it. The Elder Titan's in great position with the Solar Guardian. Let's see if the damage is going to be out fast enough. They'll get rid of the Alchemist. A great Delta split.
Gen Rune's going as well, so they can reinitiate if they want to. Playhard acting as a little bit of bait right now. He's backing off entirely. Whoever made that call from Execration, very, very smart. To try and keep the regen rolling on the Storm Spirit. He's actually looking to find out Tino here.
He's going to be able to do so. Keeps the regen. The Storm soon got a pop, but he's got the Orchid to work with. He'll need another hero. Back Avatar mode, he's going to do it by himself. A big solo kill for the Storm Spirit. He's level 12 now. What a great game from Avatar mode, 6-0-2. But across the other side of the map, Seth, he's going to be in some trouble. Playhard, it's going to look to answer with the Serpent Wards. Drops it down straight on the dome of the Undying. And now even Fortune Soul's going to show up to the party. They have the rough trick they feel it required. Instead, they're going to go to the north side because they caught out the Alchemist. As Palos ventures too far forward. Great target prioritization coming out from Neon. They avoid the support on Shanks. They see the juicier target of the Alchemist and they veer straight to him.
All that value from these unorthodox wards, right? Just not getting your wards dewarded. Even if they don't reveal quite as much space, all you need is the slightest glimpse to be able to get that pick-off that's going to slow down the next timing. And this is 16 minutes still without the Radiance. He'll get it very soon. Very soon, but it's certainly nowhere near as oppressive, right? If he has that Radiance, maybe he lives long enough for the assistance to come in from Vincenzo with the Soul Rift, just through the blind that the Radiance would have been doing.
Yeah, for Execration, you're looking for... We've spoken a lot about the Radiance, but you're looking for the BKB after on Pelos, because they will have triple BKBs, which is just looking for the recipe. Hino is about to have his gold as well for the recipe. If they can find that extra BKB, they will be ready to go. A lot of the damage is from the spells on Neon. Bloodseeker is not at the stage. His right clicks are going to be an issue.
Soon, though, he's ready to be able to turn up to this. Stacking up the Ancient Camp right before it hits 17 minutes. Who have they caught out here? Just an Undying. Playhard gives him the old yoink. Worth it, though. You really need to make sure that you're getting into this Blink Dagger ASAP on Playhard, and he's more than halfway there.
Oh, why'd they have to go and do that?
Dire playing incredibly well. They are going to be able to mirror this timing that we're going to see come out shortly from Execration. And both sides, I think whoever wins this next big team fight will be able to secure Roche. Open wards and the Chen summons, Radiant, you've got the Acid Spray, the Undying Tombstone, and potential ultimate. So both sides have the capability. If they win a big team fight, you will get an objective as a reward afterwards.
Wait 2 minutes, though, on Execration. Bob's career is dead, so he had to go. They might have actually ended up smoking right underneath these illusions. So they should know to be able to back off entirely. Fortune Soul getting all the way back to the safety of his tier 2 tower. Now, I'm Neon. I'm clumping around high ground. I'm putting some vision down and making sure I'm spot to contest this. This is a little crazy to me. I know you've got the mass serpent wards, but do you have the damage?
Ooh, they're going to send the Spirit out as well. They'll scout this out on Execration. See if they're going to be fast enough to contest this. Oh, okay, I was going to say Chen might.
Chicken.
Well, they just got the Deso and Enryu, so it might actually catch Execration off guard with how fast they can kill it now. And they don't want to contest it.
At all.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't feel strong enough. Just wanting that BKB on Bob, I suppose. It's going to be 45 seconds until his courier is available again, and you'll have the DD rune for that next fight. Just feeling that you need it on all 3 cores. A lot of this damage coming through, but Rupture still goes through that BKB, so influence a lot in this next fight if they could find Palos.
Stalking him.
Amazing pick for them. See him.
Got the ward in the high ground. He's going to get the Chemical Rage and Avatar mode with the zip into the middle. The Solar Guardian's out. It's going to split the team fight into half. They're going to try and continue to chase down Palos. The Rupture holding him into place. It's up to the supports to keep him alive, but it doesn't matter. His Fortune Soul is in with the BKB, but he doesn't have anyone behind the Bloodseeker. He'll get a little bit of bonus life still back. The X will drag him back into Bob. And the damage, it's enough to get the kill, but they can clean up now. As Avatar mode, he's got enough mana to zip over the tree line. As Neon, they'll just edge out a victory in the team fight, but they do have heavy casualties off the back of that.
Yeah, I appreciate Avatar mode on his Storm Spirit wanting to go for as many kills. He's having a fantastic game, doesn't want to dive too deep, but the reality is he has the Aegis, and you have a few people just wailing in onto your position 1 Bloodseeker, who popped his first BKB. Like, he needs to be able to get out of that team fight comfortably. So maybe that game, instead of looking to go for the extra just kill onto a support, you got to change up your priorities a little bit. You got to make sure that you're enabling the survival. And another regen rune coming for Avatar mode.
Huge. Neon have done an incredible job with the rune control. Again, he's had this.
Alchemist farming in the triangle to power these unorthodox wards, but this time around the positioning from Execration looks a bit better.
Neon. 3,000 net worth lead. See that Execration. Yep. Keeping up. Palos is keeping up. He's got this BKB coming out now, but it's just the rest of the cores, in particular Tino. Might have some difficulty scaling if he dies a couple more times in these team fights.
Get this kill. Palos is farming way on his own.
They'll kill him easily. Oh no, Palos. Neon, you've got to be cautious now about making too many plays at the same time on the map. With 2 heroes showing top, it does leave you vulnerable bottom to a smoke. Could be baiting as well, though. They've got the Chen nearby. They also have the Solar Guard, but they need to be quick to keep Fortune Soul alive. The BKB reactions, but Tino has locked onto his target. And the Serpent Hearts and locks the Bloodseeker into place. And now they can catch out Enryu because they can't enter through the stairs. Execration. Great defense in their T2 tower, but they're going to be cautious.
They're pinging it. They see him. Might be looking to go for the target that's a little bit more isolated, but the BKB lets him get back to safety. X-Mark not even needed. It's a pretty big win coming through from Execration there, getting away essentially unscathed. Still lose the tier 2 tower, I suppose, but far worse.
Does at least give Neon now some more map control to play with. So pretty much bottom is theirs for the taking, which now means that Alchemist, his home is solely towards the triangle and maybe that hard camp and small camp towards the top side of the map. So I really want to see Neon.
He just died there though, right? So he doesn't even have that freedom anymore. Maybe him to be able to back him up a little bit more. I mean, he just needs to play for that Blink Dagger timing, right? The thing that's going to let you go onto the Storm Spirit for a change.
Because they really struggle with being able to jump the Storm. Even jumping the Shadow Shaman's incredibly important. See how much impact he's been able to have so far onto Playhard, who already has this blink completed. Philosopher's Stone, and into the Ag Shard next is going to be the Shaman. So Playhard will be an issue as the game goes on, and I would not be surprised if he considers something like a BKB just to guarantee that lockdown in the fights.
Makes a lot of sense to me. They really don't have anything that's going to, disrupt it outside of the Earth Splitter coming through it. Maybe a back revenge.
Avatar mode. Zipping onto the Undying, but Execration, they are playing with Vincenzo. Very close to the T1 tower. Any reactions coming out? Bob's going to look to TP in. The age is going to expire in 15 seconds. If Execration can continue to play with the Storm, they might be able to wait it out.
Here I am. Age is gone. Avatar mode gets back just in time. I think that's a Basher as well, finished up for Fortune Soul, so can he really be looking to go next? I really wanted to get an Aghanim Shard, but with how early that first Roshan fell down, the 5k lead that you've got, you would assume that you could just look to wait for it. So maybe it's going to be something along those lines. Upgrade your Maelstrom, but you need more attack speed when you're a Bloodseek. You got the Blood Rage for that.
What do we feel like Execration need to do slightly different in these team fights with them having the 4,000 deficit?
They're just not ready. They need a little bit more of that minus armor. We can see the AC is coming through now for Palos. Hasn't been farming in as risky of a position in these past few minutes, protecting his life a little bit more fervently, but Shanks.
Connects and Neon, they're going to look to enter. They see the Conqueror and they get the jump instantly. Hex is out into the chain control, but Palos is going to be able to disrupt the shackles, but it doesn't matter. Bob is out, and now they continue to take the team fight as Avatar mode. He wants to deal with a Tombstone, which will enable Fortune Soul to target down Palos. Tino, he can do whatever he can hope to possibly turn this around, but Neon have dealt the damage at the start of the fight. They've killed off too many heroes. Onto Shanks they go next. A stomp into the TP, the sole survivor and Execration will make it out, but Neon once again find the initiation, and it is proving to be the issue here for Execration in these fights.
Feels like it's been the case all throughout today, right? The people that are just farming underneath some pretty obvious vision are the ones that end up falling down, and times now that vision on the high ground providing all of the information you could possibly need. Good target prioritization to come through, try and burst down the Shadow Shaman. He does eventually fall, but before you get a much bigger scalp in the Kunkka, preventing a lot of that teamfight prowess. Didn't even get off the KB.
It's really concerning now, because his Bloodseeker matchup overall in the entire game, he has some incredible core matchups, not just because the Rupture, but the Aghanim Shard, like you mentioned. Is he going to pick it up? Is he going to wait for second Roche? You see at the moment he's going Mjolnir, but he just tore through the Alchemist and Elk had BKB pop. Just wait till Fortune Soul now plays with Ag Shard. I'm very worried for Radiant.
Yeah, me too. Even just having a second think about the Mjolnir. I mean, you're going up against a Razor, right? Just put the active onto whatever target Razor's linking.
Top lane, they see Tino in the lane. Playhard's going to jump forward. The rest of the team is starting to react, but they might be too late. Enru's going to try and charge up the Solar Guardian, but look at the counter initiation. Shakes sets it up perfectly into Palos. He'll jump over to the right side as well, catching out Ser. That is what they needed on Execration, because Roche is up in 15 seconds.
Step lively now. I feel like Avatar mode needs to be the one going a little bit more aggressively with the boys when that happens. It wasn't the perfect overlay of spells to... Stable Concoction coming through from Palos. He won't flick forward, so ends up stunning himself. But yeah, they didn't perfectly overlap their spells with good reason. They obviously needed to get that kill super quickly on into the piece, and we saw exactly why. Joined through just the rest of the team, but there, different story. Shan up as well. Something huge to have to play around. That Aghanim Shard, nearly level 20. Get a free shard, you can just go into the next timing for yourself so much quicker. Probably going to be around the Abyssal Blade again. Just as the reason for the Mjolnir being super effective, with Razor locking in onto one target, the Alchemist frequently hitting people. Sort of think with the Abyssal Blade a little bit, just for the Vanguard component. You know, provides you with a whole lot more survivability.
Avatar mode. He's going to look to start towards the Undying. Execration, they are playing behind him. Another double stomp, but the follow-up is not going to be there with the Earth Splitter on cooldown, and this might open up the pit now for Neon. Oh, is he going to buy back? All right, we got a big fight on our hands.
Alk has no TP for 8 seconds. It's a waste of buyback.
I'm very intrigued about this. Avatar mode gets the shot, and they gave the Aegis to the Bloodseeker.
Okay. I guess he thinks that the timing yet to come on the Storm Spirit is going to be even more impactful just for the vision component. Guard going to provide a lot. Again, you are against a lot of this heavy minus armor, so any chance that you get to be able to buy into additional armor is going to be a big positive for you.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
How long Tortured Souls... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying they smoked and then they reapplied the smoke with not finding connection. So this has to go right here for Execration. They have committed a lot for the team fight.
After Radiance walking into the fire trail though from the Celestial Hammer and smoke that's not as effective as they were wanting it to be. 20, I believe that's the Aghanim Shard fought by the Bloodseeker coming out to him.
Trying to get the zip forward. Lincoln's gonna be popped. Protecting Tino, and they'll deal with the Serpent Wards. Just Lincoln's was completed for Tino. Otherwise, Neon, that would have been an opportunity for them to potentially bring down the Razor and take that fight with the Aegis advantage.
Slow things down again. You're not... I was about to say you're not quite ready. But I mean, what else are you really waiting for an Execration? They've got the Aegis. I don't think you can out for another 3.5. Tino, he's got his Lincolns, he's got his BKB, so he's really not worried anymore about the Bloodseeker. Having the Aghanim Scepter on Shanks is only 400 gold away. He's already level 15 as well, so he's actually going to have a really good high amount of physical damage coming through in these fights.
Tower is under attack.
We have been able to see Shanks. Like, he will deal with the Shadow Shaman until he gets his BKB. That there's always going to be that answer. What's going on here? Tino scouts play hard. They have the ward on the high ground. But they know no one's playing behind Tino at the moment. In fact, Execration... Because Avatar mode, he's in their side spot. They get the first stun. The follow-up take control needs to be perfect, and it's not. Just shy. And as soon as they show in the mid lane Neon, they jump on that opportunity to bring down Tino into the tier 2 tower.
Pretty heavily pushed in as well, so going to be knocking on this tier 2, taking out another one of these outer towers. Specifically, again, you're playing with an Alchemist lineup. You want to have the freedom to play around your own triangles. Right now, Palos playing as far on the other side of the map as he can. Jump lanes and Artifice play. They really are lacking that control for the Storm Spirit.
ET, incredible high ground. The performance has been so far from Mr. Avatar mode. He's got the Shivas. What would he queues up afterwards? I mean, depends if we even get through that stage. 11,000 net worth lead.
Aghanims, perhaps? A bit more control for your team, never a bad thing. Dodges out some of these Lincolns as well. Initial lockdown.
All right, well, this is an item that was catastrophic in the previous series with the Conquer JG going the Hex with Xerxia against Army Geniuses, and well, we see it now completed here for Mr. Bob. It's what they could need just to catch the Storm Spirit off guard.
Scepter though on Shanks, what we wanted to see. Get close enough to be able to hit up onto his level 16, so natural order, excuse me, not completely maxed out. Atamo still walking around, holding onto a gem. No kind of a defensive item in the Lincoln Sphere, but he still needs that plate mail in my eye. Going to go to negative armor because he's holding on to the Nether Shawl. Buys that plate mail.
Do we feel like Neon with this Aegis advantage can puncture the high ground, or Execration, do they have a lineup where they can just still defend this?
I absolutely think they have a lineup to defend it. But again, it's going to be off the individual plays coming through. If Shanks gets a multi-man stomp into actually right-clicking down, popping some heads, a lot better than if you're on the back foot getting initiated on because of the greater vision that they have through the use of the Chen creeps, through Storm Spirit, and through some really great warding so far on Neon. time, Palace has just been quietly farming too. Level 18, closer towards the Abyssal Blade. Again, just more reliable lockdown. It could be on anyone really. Probably not the Chen. That's about it. That you don't want to be wasting your Abyssal Blade active onto.
Is he gonna reach a critical threshold shortly though for that Alchemist?
I suppose. I mean, what else are you really even going to replace at this stage? You're just upgrading your Blink Dagger, Swift Blink, or an Overwhelming Blink. So, yeah, I would have to say that the Abyssal Blade is that timing that you're waiting for. You know, you don't have an Aegis to contend with anymore. You're also going to have Fortune Soul, 100 gold away from the Monkey King bar. So much extra damage when you consider he's got the additional Blood Rage attack speed, Blood Rage attack speed, excuse me. Plus 175 with a Mjolnir. Nutty.
Items from Neon. Finally being picked up. You've got a BKB here for Avatar mode. You've got the MKB as well from Fortune Soul. So they will not get anything out of the second Aegis, but it will give them enough time to be able to work towards these big items that they feel will be enough to take this next team fight and potentially take the game. They're ready to go.
Not Tino again. This time around, he's not going to just walk on down the lane. Off a path in the trees to the left-hand side. He can.
Play hard. Pops a Lincoln's. Close to the T2 tower, but the instant use of the Solar Guardian and Tino, he'll be killed off. As Execration, they're still going to stick around though. They've got a great ward of the high gun to play with.
Henry's on his own.
Tino can buy back and rejoin the fight. Avatar mode's going to be cautious. Lincoln's pop. There's the Hex. The chain control needs to be perfect. The boat's going to fly on forward. They should be able to bring him down. They get rid of Avatar mode, but can they clean up the rest of the components? That Neon is Fortune Soul is crumbling. Execration, they might be doing it. And Ryu tries to charge out to the right side, but they'll get rid of the Dawnbreaker, and they'll get play hard as well. Execration, what an incredible team fight.
It's really good. They had that vision, right? You might lose the initial hero. Tino even buys back as well. Too much of a damage influence in that fight, but they get baited. They walk. How many times have people died when they've just been underneath vision that, again, is kind of obvious coming through here? And, well, even the tombstone on the very top of that very hill. Enough to be able to burst them down, get that valuable initial kill onto the Storm Spirit, taking away a huge kill streak from Avatar mode and giving it straight over to Palace. Now he's got the Abyssal Blade, and now they're the ones breaching high ground.
They're going to take a T3 tower before Neon do. We are back to an even slate. Yeah, they definitely will. They'll get a full set with how fast they push. Oh, wow.
No reason to do any differently. And, I mean, Shanks was hitting like a truck in that fight too. He's also got Mask of Madness, yeah.
2 right clicks with 750 damage on the Bloodseeker. Hold that thought, look at this. They're tipping down to the outpost. They've got a lane ward on Tino. Radiant is starting to move down bottom, but oh no, they didn't complete their pathing, so they didn't get a glimpse of Neon with this call play. But Tino pops the BKB, but still the Rupture's going to prove to be an issue. They can chase him down with the right-click damage. They'll secure the kill. But we saw what Execration could do prior without Tino. Let's see if they can mirror that.
Thought the Aghanims there. Is that the Conquer?
Yes.
My thrift reward.
Okay. Torrent Storm around him. Has he gone into the Torrent Talents? Only a fair few of them away, huh? Still, the AoE is the important part, even just being able to potentially clip onto the Shadow Shaman in fights. Yeah, he's got the BKB, but doesn't really matter all too much.
They might poke high ground. We've got Serpent Wards and Deso.
Lay down the Wraith Pact as well.
By Serpent Wards.
A lot more durable than you might think. Tanking up a lot of these tower hits.
They are. Alright, they'll get a T3 tower. They see Vincenzo. Instantly they're picking up the Undying. Trying to collapse on his position on the high ground. That'll force a BKB out of Enryu. They got the ward and they're going to jump, play hard. Onto the Conquer, the Earth Splinter's going to get laid down. It won't be enough to dissuade them. They'll kill off Bob. Tino's up in 10 seconds. Bob doesn't have a buyback. But Palos, maybe he can do it himself. Doesn't find a target for the concoction. Now with the rupture, it's going to send Palos packing, which means Fortune Soul. He can charge on 4. They get the shot again into the ultimate. Palos is gone. And he doesn't have a buyback.
That's all play hard, man.
Kicking to the back line. He can be pop refresher as well. Look at the damage on Tino. Look at the damage. Shakes with a couple of right clicks too. You were asking for the call out of Titan. We got his support, but he's still doing core amounts of damage as Shanks just cleaves one member down onto the next.
2 seconds, 1800 damage from that Elder Titan in just 2 right clicks. He hasn't even gotten into anything else. Like, he's gone crit next. I like it. Hate to see a Silver Edge either start to come out, and even just an Echo Saber or a lot of that burst potential coming through in these team fights, but you just saw how effective the Bloodseeker is if he's able to get that Blood Rage off. Even the Undying, you know, just popping the Flesh Golem actually just buffs up the damage that the Bloodseeker's doing because of the big increase to the old max HP from Vincenzo.
What do you do now if you're Neon though? Because it feels like you need some way to deal with Shanks. This hero he's got 100% cleave now at the 20 talent. He's got crystals completed. Like, he is going to be an issue.
He is for sure. I mean, do you wait for level 25 on the Bloodseeker? Get a couple of rupture charges. Roach up. Yags.
He's out of mana. They can get some map control now, knowing that the Storm Spirit doesn't have mana.
Repo scattered it out. I think they were just out of range for that smoke, trying to catch out anyone. They know how important play hard is.
Jump to the high ground, and they'll get him. There's nothing Seth can do, and Seth, he's going to be caught out as well. Let's see what Execration want to do if they want to commit for the Chen. They'll back off as soon as they see the buyback out of play hard.
Weren't able to get down any of their vision as well. Kill attempt, so they're still in a bit of a risky position. To be fair though, they didn't have to commit super heavily on Execration to be able to get that one. Yeah, they used the Chemical Rage at the boat, but still relatively low cooldowns, only 25 away.
Vincenzo's positioning, pops the smoke, gets out with the Glimmer Cape. Avatar mode's going to commit, but the Tombstones lay it down. We're going to drop everything to deal with the Undying, who doesn't have a buyback. In fact, that might be his dieback with how dead he's gone for, and yep, that proves to be the case. And now they could move Roshan here for Neon. Do you give this up for free if you're Execration? Oh, you might not have a choice. Oh my God.
Get another great stomp off. Not in time. Storm actually gets the Aghanim Scepter for free.
Playout just bought back. This is a decent kill if they can get the Shadow Shaman if they don't have to commit too heavily. And Rue's going to be off to the left side. Tino's just going to jump in with the BKB, but the TP out, they need some right clicks and they won't have it. They cannot take the fight if you're Neon.
They got the refresher though on Tino. Maybe they feel like they still can't.
Fortune Soul is very close to this level 25. That's going to be a big talent. Now you can consider, I think you honestly rupture the Alchemist plus the Elder Titan. I was going to say maybe the Razor, but with how much farm Shanks has, I think there's definitely an argument to be made to rupture Shanks.
I think it depends who you go on to, right? Basically, you're at the stage where I don't think you care too much about the Kunkka. You're just going to be zipping in, getting the initial lockdown on through someone that isn't Kunkka, and then the other people are the ones that need dying through these ruptures. Ideal scenario would be like rupture Razor, rupture Alchemist, run down the Elder Titan.
Okay. Well, with that third roster components, we got the Cheese onto the Dawnbreaker, Ages on Fortune Soul, and the important third one is the Scepter onto Avatar mode. It's got the Arcane Rune in the bottle. It's got a Timeless Relic as well. We see Vincenzo once again. Oh, and 25. First 25 of the game for the Storm Spirit. Fortune Soul very close to finding his own. You need to give the Bloodseeker 25 before a fight.
Wave, so not gonna happen just yet. Can he find someone else again? Forward, trying to force a play out of Execration first.
Zip in! Avatar mode! And the Solid Guardian are out and down for the count! That's it? Oh my lord! It's all on Shakes! It's gonna be a miracle for the Elder Titan to clean them all up! What an accurate set to reveal probably the best I have seen out of a Storm Spirit!
Holy shit! Just got them all the vision, everything provided to them by PlayHard, forcing once again that bad reaction. But again, ready.
Over to the Aegis, PlayHard though. Comes to the back with the BKB, the Alchemist is in trouble. Shakes is going to make some space, but he can't do anything. Palace is gone, that's a dieback. EXE's gone, and we're going to a game 3. Neon, what a performance. They can send us all the way to the distance once again. Man, what a crazy game 2.
Don't care about that last play on Avatar mode. PlayHard's the MVP. He did everything. Game. He found the pickoffs. He was good with vision. He pushed lanes out with his shard. He forced bad reactions, like I was just saying there, with his Mass Serpent Wards. He provided the push that was honestly pretty severely lacking. We didn't really feel too much of a pushing influence coming out from Set on the Chen. It was all PlayHard. Like, this is what you bring and sign one of these more experienced players within SEA 4, because he brings that clutch play. And, well, PlayHard, he by far had the most success for Neon in the past, and keep up play like that, then look to continue.
Is if you're talking to someone who does not want to speak to you, is it that they are nervous, or is it that they just don't want to frickin' talk to me right now?
He's like, yes, please move on. All right, duly noted. I'm gonna stand up and move. There's so much trolling, I don't even know how to navigate this.
I don't mind looking stupid, I don't mind looking silly, I don't mind looking bad, but I never want to make someone that I interview look bad.
Casey is doing great. Like, she's doing great for the scene. When she comes to TI, she interacts with these crazy-ass fans.
I think she does a good job understanding people and getting people to open up a little bit.
I want to get trolled by Ice Ice Ice.
I've been trolled by Ice Ice Ice. He's really good at it. My job is to also give a voice to the fans and give them an opportunity to come together as a community and connect with the players. You can't be afraid to not look polished. I'm anti-polish. Be yourself, be in the moment, show how you're feeling. If I had a time machine, I would go back to 10-year-old me and I would start playing Dota 2. And I would be here as a player and I would be going for $18 million. And y'all be interviewing me and you'd ask me questions and I'd say, I don't know, I have diarrhea.
I think I've seen that clip like at least 100 times. It's legendary.
You know, the whole venue was just echoing. It was just, really easy to root for, our, fellow countrymen.
That was a great part of Dota history, the meme-making game, Liquid versus LGD.
Best Best of one. Loser eliminated. Winner in the top 8. The draft complete. The players now selecting their heroes. And here we go.
Team USA is having the home crowd behind them.
I think going into that match, I don't think Liquid really, liked their odds very much. They were just gonna leave it all out on the field, and it was enough. LGD was, a top dog of that tournament, and they were, predicted to win.
And it's gonna be a Bulba clockwork, making a comeback here. Bulba still doing pretty well mid. I actually would say it's very even.
I remember Bulba. He was. Такие же, как и мы.
每把都当最后一把。对，每一把都当最后一把，然后就也不要怕输。
Добро пожаловать в сюжетную арку про Золушку Team Spirit. Insane place.
Against LGD China. Could there be a turnaround?
It was like my first ever tournament. This was like a big moment for me because I wanted to prove myself. This game was everything for us.
They need a hook. Boba finds one. That's going to be on Xiaowei.
And I was getting all these kills with Clockwork. I just killed Xiaowei when he was split pushing with Furion. And then finally there was a big team fight in their base, and I had a really good hook on 2 people. At that point I couldn't really hold it anymore. I just started getting up in my seat even though the game wasn't over. And now I'll look back and say, wow, what was I doing?
I used to have a soundboard. My #1 most clicked one was the LD part when Liquid, they won. I think it goes like this. Siler to fall, Liquid are doing it.
Siler to fall, Liquid are doing it.
And Bulba is on his feet. I believe that's how it goes, but it's so epic.
Everyone loves an underdog, and being able to cheer for the home crowd favorite and getting behind them and all these personalities on the team, especially Sam, it's an easy personality to cheer for. It's just a kid who wants to do well at his first big tournament and take it home to his family and his parents. And I imagine he was just totally overwhelmed and full of energy and excitement, and soaking in the crowd was his way of releasing that emotion.
I think the fans loved it. The crowd was going pretty crazy because it was the first time an American team had ever done anything, so that was pretty cool. Before that, the American scene was very, very bad.
North American Dota.
It was cool to see that everyone can beat everyone in tournaments like this, so everyone have a chance to win tournament.
I like to think that game will be remembered as a turning point, and it proves that anyone can really do it.
I think for any team that is in the finals, that's just 100% focused. You know that you're the 2 best teams in the world. Either of you could win. It's a very weird feeling. It feels like you need to win this with all your soul and body and mind. Everything that you've achieved in Dota and that you've done in Dota has built up until this moment.
Some people maybe feel pressured. Crowd was always very friendly to us. The crowd would help us a lot. big scene is good for us, but for someone else, I don't know, it's different.
50,000, 500,000, 2 million people are watching, like, okay, that's great. It's a lot of pressure. Playing with thousands of spectators watching you, you're more prone to make mistakes because you're thinking about it more. Just keep your cool and not let any distractions such as the crowd or, you know, the pressure get to you. Guarantee you someone else on the other team will let it get to them, so if you're able to keep your cool, you're probably going to win.
Dota is a sick mental game. It brings out the best and worst in you. Who ended up winning the mental warfare always won the series. That's how you're going to win tournaments. That's how you win the tournament. And if you break the other mind, it gets really easy. Some minds are really hard to beat though.
Well, at TI5, I had no anxiety. Like, I was totally comfortable in my own skin, and I think that I played really well, and everything was great. But then I go to the Summit 4, you know, it's a $100,000 tournament versus
Seconds remaining. Dire team banned. Radiant team banned. Dire team banned. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. The Undying waits. Dire team pick. Earth Shaker. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Enchantress.
And we are back with our final game of the night. One team going home and one team will be continuing on in the lower bracket here for TI11 regional qualifiers. Then we've got our draft underway. A lot is already being revealed. Execration going back with the Undying, and they'll get Bob's puck in the 8th pick. But Neon Esports, though, we see a little bit of a difference. Chen, respect ban from the previous game, but it does leave the Earthshaker in the pool. So Neon, they instantly snagged that up along with the Enchantress.
You know how I feel about the Shaker, but I'm going to give Play Harder a temporary pass to be able to play it because he just played an exceptional game in game number 2. It's good against the puck as well. I know the puck was picked in response to it. It does kind of feel like, did you ever think after this past year or so you would be in a situation where you were like, man, I kind of miss seeing puck?
10 seconds remaining. Team ban.
Hasn't really been picked all that much in this past like 3 or so weeks in the qualifiers, right?
Yeah, no, we really have not seen the puck at all.
So anything that's going to enable Bob to make some crazy plays, whether they be stupid or amazing, I'm a big fan of, right? So I'm on board with this puck. They're just giving him the easiest lane possible as well. See you later. See you later, TA. The Conqueror as well. So obviously be lane more for the game, but all of that instant lockdown, that's the main thing that they're wanting to prioritize, especially considering you know that there's not going to be a position 5 coming through here that has any kind of stuns. So kind of need to prioritize it with either your position or mid laner.
Imagine we'll see Neon's position 2 picked up. I think the Ember could be something they're considering, and we go for Avatar mode, something he's incredibly comfortable on. We saw him play one of the spirits in the previous game, and now you get something that has a very good matchup versus the puck, and Undying does not address the Ember at all.
Yep, no, it's a really good Ember Spirit pick. Avatar mode comfort. Follow up on this though. You have a look at Execration. I'm just thinking what Neon's response is going to be after this, because it's still not enough lockdown for him. You can win the lane, fine, but it's going to get to a period where puck can still take over the game.
I think for Execration, you're considering going for a hero that can break the coil. Now with the 4 getting picked up, probably going to not really be possible now. I don't.
You were thinking the Tiny or something.
Yeah, something like that. Gives you a little bit of like another way to initiate. I think Tiny Puck's a very nice combo, and you can then go like Bloods. You could have gone like Tiny Bloodseeker. I like Nyx a lot versus Ember. I think it does have some issues into the Enchantress though, which is my concern. But Execration really like the Nyx Assassin, and Shanks does have a good Nyx.
Could you go down the like? Puck's great at it, but Undying and Nyx Assassin are pretty terrible at dealing with like push. Lycan here on Neon. Even Brood Neon.
Dire team.
Where you pick it up many times before, getting surprise victories against the likes of Boom in that back when they were in Division 1. Unexpected wins too.
I think I might prefer a Visage over the heroes you suggested.
Yeah, I can see why.
Cool. Very good call. Okay. I think regardless, as soon as you see the Faceless Void pick up, you want a 3 to run down objectives. You mentioned why, because of the Nyx Undying, because they can't clear creeps at all, but Faceless Void is very, very similar. This is a hero that has a incredibly long cooldown that takes a while to come online. It is a little bit different now with the build. Kind of, you can get a bit more active with that Aghanim Shard early on, but it's still going to be very similar with this Lycan getting picked up. So I think it is a great response from Neon.
It is. You still need to consider that you're up against a Puck, right? Lycan doesn't really like to build into the beat. So you're going to have this situation where Puck is going to be able to dream coil you. Where's the damage? That's my main gripe with Execration's draft right now. Undying, Nyx Assassin, it's all like low-ish damage, you know? There's no potential for this huge wombo combo to come in and punish the Lycan if he gets put out of
10
position.
seconds remaining.
That's my main thing for Tino. I'm going to need to see something that's able to
5 seconds remaining.
convert onto a successful Puck coil.
I think real quick as well with the lane setup from Neon, I think you might be considering playing Enchantress Lycan in the lane instead of Earthshaker Lycan, because I think double strength melee into Undying would just be a free farm lane for the Void. So I think Neon might consider about swapping up the lanes, at least in regards to the supports.
Possible, yeah.
10 seconds.
Pudge.
Hold up, sunshine.
On I like the Tidehunter ban from Neon. Could they Pudge? Could they Sand King this game? I actually quite like Sand King this game on Execration. I know it's just another strength hero that the strength hero isn't as much of an issue, but Enchantress isn't going to buy BKB. Earthshaker isn't going to buy BKB. Lycan's not going to buy BKB. And you'll be able to stop the push. You'll be able to layer in that damage that I was talking about. I think it's a really good Sand King game for Execration right now, and there are not many good Sand King games that exist these days.
I just have concerns on how that lane is going to be with a Nyx Sand King. Do not think Sand King can be left alone. That is my one big worry about that hero.
And I guess you don't know what hero is going to come to it as well. These are kind of lane-dominated heroes, right? You have the potential for it to be an anti-mage if you do pick the same, but it kind of goes away from the style that Neon are going for, right? I guess they could Wraith King into a Faceless Void, and then you're feeling pretty okay if you have to drop all of these huge ultimates onto him. Still can get aggressive with a stun in lane. You can a Desolator.
I like the Wraith King call. It's with the matchups, it looks pretty good, but the hero's definitely fallen off. So if you want to pull it out, and it is something that Fortune Soul played a lot in Kobold, so he's really comfortable in the hero. I like the Underlord ban as well. That was actually something I was going to mention for Execration. One hero that can definitely deal with the summons, the Root versus the Ember's nice, and can pretty much just be unkillable with not Neon have. They don't have a Spirit Vessel builder. So I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that can kind of substitute what the Underlord would have done.
I just thought it would be a little too slow, you know?
Is Timber there?
No. I think it would have been a little too slow. Centaur. Okay. I get it. It's a little bit of that extra damage that you're needing. even against the Lycan, right? You're providing a little bit of security to the rest of your team. They don't really have anything outside of the Fisher to be able to lock people in
10
place.
seconds remaining.
Now what do you even pick up against?
5 seconds
Go
remaining.
back into the Necro here?
You could consider it, yeah. Yeah, you can consider it. Puck and Nyx can be a bit annoying, but I don't hate it at all. I was thinking Monkey as well, but Centaur Stampede to get out of ring could be an issue with not a lot of control for Neon. But I think you do need a hero that lanes very well versus Centaur.
Could you Doom? Will we see a
I think Doom is incredible. I like that call a lot. I don't think they'll do it because I haven't seen Fortune Soul play it. And I think it is very play dependent. But they have a lineup that could just completely run over the game, and they can scale with the triple core. There you go, Pudge. All right. I mean,
I was honestly considering Pudge for Execration with this, just to be able to snap the coil, you know, and provide, as long as you got the Ags, a decent amount of damage inside of the coil. Fortune Soul, rather. It's an early timing hero, right? That's the thing. And you needed this when you're looking to try and take advantage of a Lycan to... Actually, do you think they should have Night Stalkered instead of Centaur on Execration? I know it's kind of been and gone, but against a Lycan it feels pretty nice. Get on top of the Earthshaker feels kind of nice. On the Ebba would have too. But maybe just feeling like the lane could have been horrendous if they just Monkey Kinged into you.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I'm just intrigued on the cooldown issues, if that was the case. I'm just happy regardless. We get to see a Centaur, a hero that Tino is definitely comfortable, and we haven't seen him play it for quite some time, though. I really like to pull it out when he was first playing the position 3. But for Neon, this safe lane, I mentioned before that I would kind of like them to run Earthshaker in the safe lane. And go Enchantress and the Lycan together, just so you have a ranged hero to lane with the Undying. They might not now, because Enchantress Pudge is a incredibly strong lane. That is very difficult with Execration. This is a lane that can get multiple kills, whether it's on the Nyx Assassin. I think even the Centaur, even though how tanky he is, he can go down in this lane as well. So Neon has some pretty goddamn good lane setups.
I was trying to think as well if this Lycan... This isn't necessarily a game where that Howl is going to be massively impactful either. You know, with the globalness of it at nighttime, it's not huge, right? Like, maybe against a Chronosphere early on, but I feel like most of the time the Lycan is probably going to be a target of the early Chronospheres.
All right, here we go. Game 3 with Execration taking on Neon. On that team, move on forward. Denog, which team is that going to be?
Ладно, смотрим дальше.
B. You called the Ember, and I called the Lycan, so it feels like we're more in sync with Neon's draft, don't you think?
Yeah, yes, sure. I can agree. I do think Execration are a slightly better team.
Yep, me too.
Which is definitely something I'm considering. But I do like Neon's lineup a little bit more. So I will go them, but hesitantly.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking down the same path.
See though. One's able to play out. Predictions in.
Doesn't even deny the bounty rune. Never mind, switch my mind. Execration, 3 bounties, easy.
Game, easy life. What's the lane setup looking like? It will be play hard, starting down bottom. Yep. So you the Earthshaker here with the Lycan. At least he's going to be able to help out with manipulating the creep.
Ooh, nice hook. Up top. Get away though. No enchant levels just yet. In the dead. Wanting to layer out. Lots of big instances of damage against a Centaur. And that Retaliate isn't going to have quite as big of an impact.
You know, it's in some trouble here if they land the hook. He's going to try and push on forward. This early level in Impetus is proving to be a very big issue for Tino. He went double ring of protection, which you kind of need with the Centaur change, but the pure damage for the Impetus doesn't give a damn about these items.
Pure damage to the meat hook won't either. I mean, really, level 2 is what they're looking to play around right now on Seth and Fortune Soul. Chant into a hook back into the rot with Impetus. Anyone's going to die to that unless they just TP away, and Tino doesn't have the HP pool to be able to just move on away. Another courier kill.
All right, top lane off to a flying start. We're just going to be looking at the level 2s. Them until they can get aggressive. We'll keep take a look down bottom for the moment, but we'll have eyes on top just in case those 2s are picked up and they get aggressive. But bottom lane for the moment. Chill. Ah, there we go. There's the 2s. Move in with a couple of stuns, nothing crazy.
Chant just yet. That's really the only thing holding them back, and have a mana, 1 or 2 of the Impetus usages. There we go.
The 2 and Tino goes down. Beautifully done from Neon. See, Shanks, he was trying to drag the wave, recognizing that they could not play this lane very, very shortly, but Seth, his drag 2 melee creeps over, so he will be able to cut this off in the path.
Soul, happy enough to just get some of that solo experience up. Really, I don't want to say all you need is level 2 on the Enchantress, but Pudge makes much better use out of these early levels. Honestly, I'm seeing this as like 2-1 lanes. That was the big thing that influenced my decision towards predicting the bottom lane. If they're able to even salvage out a drawn lane, that's going to be enormous. Playhard's been doing pretty well at the lane manipulation, securing range creeps with the Fissure, getting consistent pulls off onto this medium camp, and he's been body blocking up the small camp, making sure that it's not going to balloon out too far towards the Radiant Tier 1 tower and put Lycan in a risky position.
You see the micro shenanigans that they're up to. Like Enry is using the Wolves to try and drag the hard camp to get the pull off. I mentioned play hard up to his good old creep cutting as well, so they are recognizing it's going to be a tricky lane.
Gets the courier, blocks the camp, pulls the wave, I'm assuming behind the tower. Ryu could just back up entirely. He'll give him all the experience he could possibly want. Creep wave, half of it's going to probably be denied away here. And Ryu, sorry, Playhard could just get back on out there. More map presence through. I think Vincenzo is going to be at all concerned, but up a bounty rune even. Playhard if you're wanting to. Steal that away from the puck, who isn't having the easiest of times against Avatar mode, but not like actually as far behind as I was thinking.
Ладно, смотрим дальше.
He's chilling at the moment here from Bob. It is also a hero that he is obviously incredibly comfortable on. Grandmaster, level 30. Is the amount of fun that he's getting at the moment. This is a matchup that again comes down to if you're able to secure the runes, and unfortunately for the puck, he will get no water rune to play with. So this is going to give Avatar mode a big opportunity now to just slowly dwindle down the health pool of the puck, and Bob actually might be forced all the way back to base.
Will indeed. They're actually pinging that fact out, just saying, hey, don't worry about a puck for the next little bit. He's not in a position, excuse me, to be able to TP out to a lane either other than mid. Still needs to spend the next couple of minutes A, getting up to that level 6, and B, dealing with that siege creep wave. Anytime you're playing against an Enchantress, sure, you're a lane dominator, but link up with one of those catapults and really put the herd into one of the others.
Shanks up top might be in a little bit of trouble here. He's already used the Impale and the Spy Carapace, so Fortune Soul and Sarah is able to chase down the Nyx Assassin very easily.
It's going pretty well. Neon and Ryu, he's not fallen too far behind the Void. The Void was always going to get a good amount out of this lane. Palos, his game isn't going to be harmed too much, but it's the fact that Enryu is pretty much keeping up. He's almost a full level ahead in terms of experience, just because of how far away from the lane Playhard's been playing. And what, only 400 or so net worth behind at 5 minutes? I think he's feeling very happy about that.
That he is. I think when we see this Helm of the Dominator come out here for Enryu, there's going to be consideration for the Ember Spirit to even rotate. You could even bring the Enchantress down bottom as well, considering the Pudge. Be okay mid lane. Bob, find the fissure. He's got the orb still to play with for the puck, so Bob will be able to get out a Out of danger.
He's like so close to hitting that Dream Coil. I feel like Bob would have gone for that kill attempt if he just had that tiny little bit extra. Had plenty of mana to be able to play around and have the HP for it.
And Sam might be in some trouble. Sidesteps the orb, beautifully done. Oh, it's going to be down bottom with the power rune as well. Bob's getting pretty unlucky this game.
You have been denied.
And Ryu's going to get some solo time against Palos, and he will more than truly okay with the extra damage from the Wolves as well to help out. Well, top lane, Tino, he's in a little bit of trouble. Hook's gonna land. We'll get some distance now, but look at the body blocks. The rotation's gonna come out from Bob, however. Cole's gonna leash them both together. Can they kill off the Pudge? This hero is incredibly tanky, but Shanks lines up the double impale. What a stun out of the Nyx Assassin. They'll get the Pudge. That's the important target. Set. He can limp away, but at least you slow down this Pudge's game.
A bit of panic coming through there from Ser. He ended up using, snapping the coil there, while he had an option to be able to potentially get a few more right clicks into the Centaur. Avatar mode though, not using any of this, let's call it space. Not wasting any kind of this space, although stun coming through, never mind, gets interrupted by the Fissure. This Siege Creeper survived for a good minute and a half hitting into this tower, so even this, cliffing, putting a really tanky creep in the way, the Siege Shot bouncing luckily towards Bob.
Chenzo's forced to just run into the middle. Some space, play hard, even wants to try and tank up the tower as well to get that extra little bit of right-click damage from the catapult, but meanwhile, Vincenzo, he still goes down. Neon are playing this game incredibly well. What a laning phase for them to start.
Yep, very, very nice. It might look not like too much, the less than 1k net worth lead, but it's much more. The bottom lane has gone far too well for Enryu here. It's going to be a nice rotation coming through from Bob, though, dropping the Chronosphere, wanting to save that Dream Coil for kills onto the more mobile heroes, and finally should be able to pull down. Actually has to pop the coil. Like, you almost feel okay with that, because now you just get this next little bit where maybe you make an aggressive play. You've got the Helm of the Dominator finished up. You can use the Shapeshift pretty happily.
Yeah, you need to bring, I think, the Enchantress down bottom. Maybe you could make an argument for him playing around mid with Avatar mode to potentially take this T1 tower as well. If you split up your resources, you could put pressure on multiple objectives and force Execration to decide which tower they want to give up. And it's like with both supports mid lane, nice slight dodge from Avatar mode. They get the deny at least. There's the tower, and now bottom should be the next on the agenda.
It's a little bit on Shanks, though. He had level 4 at the time and didn't actually put the skill point into the 2-point spike carapace. If he did, he would have landed with that impale after the fact. So, again, small mistakes like that. You still get the deny, so it's not the worst situation in the world, but they balloon out.
Fortune Soul. It's to dismember through the Stampede duration, so Tino's completely wasted an ultimate. A solo kill for Fortune Soul, much needed after the death that he received prior.
3 seconds on the Dream Coil, so have to assume that Puck doesn't really feel like she can accomplish too much on this bottom side. They scan the fact that Palace is inside the tree line as well, almost blocking him off entirely with the Helm Dom creep as well as the Wolf, but not committing their bodies too heavily here on Neon. I feel like Seth can. Yeah, the impetus stacks in through. Hate to see him pick up a Blightstone as well, just to accelerate that pace that little bit more.
This is scary now, because this is everything that Neon need for their lineup to be able to succeed. You get some early towers, a little bit of gold into the bank of the supports, and Enchantress and the Earthshaker will do a lot with this bonus gold. We've seen Playhard, he really likes going down the route of the first item, Aghanim Shard, so if he can find that directly at the 15-minute mark, then that will have a lot of value. Top lane,
careful here
they want to Avatar mode. It's gonna look to pop it in, so they got a couple of stuns, but they're gonna be too late to find the fault. Impale's still there. Oh, Avatar mode is playing with fire. It's the Remnant out at the last second, holding on. We're seeing how many abilities and how many heroes he can force to react to top, because meanwhile, bottom.
I like this bot. I like this a lot. I want them to stay down here as long as possible. It's really good that they didn't have to use the glyph for this, but you use Dream Coil, you use the Tombstone. Feels like a lot of big cooldowns used just to try an Ember Spirit that never eventuated. The strength coming through from Enryu. He doesn't have the full Vlads or even the Helm of the Overlord finished up, but it's a lot of auras. Bassi, Buckler, Helm Dom Creep. 10 seconds, the Shapeshift too.
With all this going on across the map, Fortune Soul is getting closer and closer towards the Scepter. One component completed. Almost enough gold for the second one as well. As soon as that Scepter's picked up here, we could see the Pudge look to get very active across the map.
Body in there, pump faking the Fisher to scare Puck a little bit, but this is valuable time that's being wasted here. You've had Seth as well as Play Hard, banking around this Radiant jungle for the last little bit, but nothing's really been achieved. You know, Seth's actually farming a little bit. He's going into the power treads and be able to additional sources of damage inside of the minimal lockdown that they've got, but they haven't found any big objectives. They haven't even found kills.
No true chops, so they're going to see Shanks. I was just going to say, I do think this is where Execration can now look to maybe take some fights off the back of the Vendetta. It's a lot of damage to open up, even potentially finding a pickoff onto the side lane. So I like the fact that Shanks has been able to find his level 6, 12 minutes in. They've got the Chrono as well, so Execration can look to take a fight, but it needs to be in a pretty perfect location, as maybe this one is, but Tombstone dropped. Unfortunately, they're going to be late with the Chronosphere to hold the Ember into place, so instead they'll go for the Enchantress. Fissure will buy some time. Palace is on the wrong side of the wall. Pymook's going to be up in a couple of seconds, and even using the Stampede to help out, but hang on. Oh, we get the first hit bash, but it won't matter. Spike Carapace out of Shanks, canceling the Dismember. They will be able to chase down the Nyx Assassin. Radiant, they are nearby to hold them back.
Triple coil.
Coil's going to be expended. Avatar mode with the Slight. He's going to be okay for the moment. Neon, they might look to go back in. They're going to be cautious that they don't group up because Palace is ready with the Chronosphere. He's going to juke out, moving back towards the tier 1 tower. T2 tower, but it looks like that's enough.
There, though. Oh, going deeper. You don't have the damage for this Palace. No one does. Pudge is way too tanky with that Vanguard with a maxed out Flesh Heap. No Dream Coil available, no Tombstone, not even a Vendetta. Look at all this, all the while. Enryu down on the bottom side, pushing this in slowly but surely. I like the fact that Palace has gone into the Midas though. Enchantress against a Lycan, at least for this first little bit of time. You've got the potential to slow down the push. You know that the area of the map that they have available to be able to farm is shrinking. It's going to be effective when you have very little spaces. There we go. Value Midas coming through against the Enchanted Creep. Oh no.
Loss. Oh, that Impetus going to do... Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. Do you smoke?
I mean, if Avatar mode had more mana, that would have been probably a dead Faceless Void coming through there. Do you smoke? Or do you just push mid?
I push mid as in pressure the tower, or just push mid to clear the wave? Can they pressure the tower? I don't know if they can.
I don't know if they can do much at all. Twin Ripper just pushing himself onto the low ground. Predicting the movements.
I do feel like we have a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Like, we're waiting for this Helm of the Overlord to be picked up for the Lycan, BKB on Avatar mode, Scepter on the Pudge, and for Radiant. At least Bob now finally has his Switchblade, and Palace is ready to go whenever he has the Chrono, but really you're waiting for Tino's Blink Dagger. He's very, very farmed on the Centaur. It's kind of what happens when you go this Vanguard and along with the Hood. You just play your own game, but once you get that blink, you need to capitalize. If you die a couple times after this item is completed, all of a sudden you will have issues with scaling.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, Neon, it felt like they had this period where they could have potentially taken so much more out of the map, but you're very happy to just sit back and be patient until you reach this timing. Maybe that was the message for each one in between games 2 and 3. Like, great job in game number 2.
Palace might be in trouble mid. They need to be perfect with their chain control. Playout's gonna move in with the Echo Slam. Totem out as well, but the damage isn't there.
lets him know about it as well. It's not meant to be. Even trying to scare away Avatar Mode a little bit. Has to be careful going for those dives in future because you've got the hook.
He killed the rage cream. Okay, sets up for the hook, but it will not matter. A little bit too late with the fingers. In fact, I think he didn't have enough mana on Fortune Soul.
Timings are all coming at once though. Negative shot on the Shaker.
Ember's in some trouble. Palos!
He walked in.
Chrono! Clipping onto two heroes. They should be able to get the Ember afterwards, but Avatar Mode is still alive. Remnant down to the right, but the orb secures the kill, but all of Radiant are incredibly weak except Tino. The blink reveal onto Fortune Soul. They're lacking the damage at the moment, but Bob, he's freely right-clicking. They'll kill off the pods. They're going to turn to the right side to try and catch up the set. And when they pay off from afar, they should be able to do so, but Enryu is looking to clean up. Claims their life. The Palos is now juking Tino's stun, and they should be able to go back in afterwards. The shapeshift will expire shortly. Enryu's going to be pretty cautious. The first stun into the follow-up, it's not there at the moment. Still on cooldown from Tino, but he's nearby. Blink at the ready. Tino's back in. Onto two. What a beautiful hoof shot from Tino, but again, the follow-up. It'll come out of the double edge, but Bob's falling lower and lower. But he just gets the jaunt away, but Avatar Mode is respawn. They killed him before. He's back alive. Looking to clean up. We'll get rid of Shanks. Do they consider about going under the T2 tower though on Neon?
I don't think they need to go under it. They just need to be focused on pushing it right now. They forced the glyph out. Big win coming for them. No Chrono. They got the Dream Coil back up, but no Stampede. Not even a Flesh Golem for the next little bit too. So just look to play around that Lycan, who he has the Helm of the Overlord. He's going into the drums next. You've hit your timings, right? You've got the Aghanim shot on the Shaker. You've got the Aghanim Scepter for Fortune Soul. I saw it's just under an 9, but you'll take it when you've got 3 strength heroes on your team. The tier 2 tower removed.
I think high ground? Poke a little bit?
Force the glyph, maybe?
Soul just wants the creep wave. I'm gonna look to back off because mid they are trying to set up on Bob. Be a difficult kill for them to find. Very nicely done from Bob with the phase shift, but with all this going on, Palos is back to his triangle. He has his extra farming steroid from the Maelstrom now completed and will be working on the BKB.
Can I just shout out Bob again this game? I know it feels like we're praising him constantly, but this is a losing lane that you are down on towers, that he has a 400 net worth lead ahead.
Maybe don't shout him out too early. Maybe you don't shout him out too early. As Bob, he goes down, Fortune Soul is able to land a perfect hook.
Oh, the curse is real. They're in onto Shanks as well with Enryu. Pops the dust. Ooh. Might be able to get away for this next little bit. Never mind. Indeed. You got Seth there to be able to tank it up. You got all the Skelly boys there. One with the plus 18 damage coming through. Don't put them in melee range. They're just going to get slammed.
Radiant are coming. Be cautious if they group up, but the damage is still the thing in question.
How perfect
they're going to be fast enough though. She's going to fall. Oh, get the Aegis, they get it. Fortune Soul has the extra life, and now they're going to look to Stampede to get out. The chains will hold Tino inside the river, and out to the north, however, Palos is trying to solo down, play hard. They've isolated the Earthshaker, and they will penalize his positioning, but Neon, they're still looking to take the fight. However, Bob, oh no, the rod damage, Palos is going to get out, but the rest of the team, they cannot. Shanks and Bob locked inside the corner, but they'll both just be able to evade this. A coil holding back Gaia, but Bob, he's still in trouble. The body blocks into the dragon damage. Can they catch up to him? Right click, not enough, as Bob will just escape, and somehow all they lose is Tino.
Scratch that. Caster Curse 2.0 coming through here as Vincenzo ends up falling down. But to use the Dream Coil and the Chrono for not too much, I understand why Palos did it, right? He was caught. There was no way that he was going to survive if he didn't use that Chrono. Connecting onto 3 next to the rot never feels too amazing, and closing in, preventing the space that you're going to be able to pick up this farm. There he is.
Time right now. They've got the Echo Slam if they need it. This time they should be able to get the kill. We saw they were lacking the damage last time, but it's not the case. As a tips are coming out from Neon. Ooh, they're starting to feel themselves.
Some of them tipping their old teammate as well. Than what you want to see come through. There was that period where Palos was making some pretty good results come through for Neon, but this is the result that matters. Neon trying to close this one in. They'd used the glyph previously, so high ground is very siegeable. 3 minutes left on that Aegis timer. Hood picked up as well for Pudge. It feels like nothing's going to be able to kill Fortune Soul.
Oh, they got the hook onto Bob. The Fissure as well. He might not be able to jaunt away, but Tino at least gets this thumb to buy the puck enough space, but Tino, he's going to be in trouble himself. They need to deal with the tombstone, but look at the echo damage. Palos, he'll just escape. How are Neon surviving? They're trying to get the Fissure forward. Fortune Soul closing the distance, but he will not be able to keep up with the Faceless Void as Tino's back in. They'll deal with the first life. They're going to be able to turn it back around as Tino's in trouble, and Rue should be able to chase down the Centaur. And it's going to be up to buybacks now for Execration to hold the base.
Bob, go to the back line. Trying to disrupt any way you can.
Oh,
just don't have the damage.
To time walk away, but Bob, no, the chain control, play hard. What a perfectly timed enchant totem coming out from the Earthshaker.
Worthy recipient of that temporary pass for playing the Earthshaker is play hard and keeps this up. It's kind of like Uncle Roger giving out the uncle titles, you know? You could keep it, but you can lose it as well.
At the moment, he's well and truly keeping with the performance we've seen from Play Hard, as Neon first Aegis advantage will net them a full set at bottom barracks. A 6,000 net worth lead in the do or die last game of the series.
Uncle Play Hard really showing up in this series.
Playing
a fantastic. I was debating that or like some kind of Jinkyu related thing, because I feel like Jinkyu is the Uncle Roger of Earthshaker.
Give it.
I just don't think he can defend this tier 2 tower. Just don't have the potential for it. Time mode. Playing around a lot of gold as well. He can look to go into this Orchid, joins the rest of the team. He's got the haste rune to play around with as well. Needs to pop it pretty shortly though. Kind of lacking in the mana department.
Well, he might be in a bit of trouble. He's not going to have the orb to play with now. No follow-up. Avatar mode doesn't have the mana. Feeling hesitant about committing behind the T2 tower. They're just going to slow siege this one down. Let the Helmet of the Overlord do the job. Palos is going to time walk in. Palos be able to move out. In fact, Execration, they want to continue with the jump. Onto the Earthshaker. Play hard has been vital for the team fights, so he's going to look to buy back and rejoin them. Although he's in trouble. Stuck inside the lane, doesn't get enough distance away with the jaunt. And now they're going to go down to Shanks as well as Avatar mode. Chains into the hook. Another easy pickings for Neon.
They're just having to deal with an ancient granite golem as opposed to any heroes. Ryu still just breaking out of the wolf form. Potential to... He actually just took over a range creep. Look how big that boy is on the left-hand side. Sieging like his life depended on it, and the TI qualifier lives, it absolutely does. Continuing to try and push on in. Plenty of charges left of the drums to be able to continue this aggression. Again, no glyph for 2.5 minutes. This could very easily be the second lane of Rax, but you got the ultimates coming back up, so will Neon have the composure to back off?
Tino with the follow though. Gets a double hoof stop. They're going to be cautious. They group up because the Chrono is going to hold the teammates together. The rod damage is out, but Execration, they can retreat. Tino unfortunately won't do so as he's locked outside the base, and Avatar mode is going to pounce on Fall for more. Straight onto the Faceless Void's location as it sets up for the Dismember. As down goes Palos, and it's all...
Do it solo.
I don't think he can.
Even just some of this...
The chains! Oh my, the change of the hook, the combo we've seen multiple times this game, that or the fissure. Neon are playing so incredibly well together.
They are indeed. It really feels like they've hit their stride as a cohesive unit. They're gonna just walk away after taking 2 lanes of barracks. Game number 3.
Power.
Like the start of the game was gonna result in a bit closer one from this, but this is what you and I were both scared about for Execration's sake. You know, this is draft that you had the potential to win multiple lanes. You had this push that had no way to be responded to.
I'm struggling to see what Execration are going to be able to do to hold this next set. I think really the most ideal fight is somehow Neon do not commit on the tombstone and they dive a little bit too deep, because Radiant do have a lot of stuns and mobility to kite them, and Dire kind of don't. So if you can somehow not address the tombstone, which, well, speaking about the hero, bye-bye Vincenzo, and he does have a buyback, so 35 seconds without your position 5. You need every single member to defend this last set of barracks.
23 seconds on the glyph. They want to try and hold this one for the last lane.
God, Shanks!
Jumps in the way.
He jumps in, eats the hook, and now they got the follow-up. They'll kill it, play hard. They need to kite the pudge. They're onto the backline. Palos to the corner, it's still on cooldown. If he gets a distance, thanks to the time open and set, they'll just turn to deal with the Centaur. And Shanks, he BOGO ticket to the middle. He tried to play with the Spike Carapace, but it was still on cooldown. It was an offering, but it wasn't enough, because Neon, now they're looking for more. They might be able to catch up to Bob. He's going to juke out to the right side instead. Bobby.
They're not losing sight of the main objective, though. Know that Roshan has the potential to be up, so Fortune Salt pinging it out immediately after that maximum time for it spawned. And it's a buyback out of Shanks, gets another glyph being used. Does still feel like they're lacking the damage, though. If you can wait this out long enough to have the Mjolnir on Palos, maybe look to go for an attempt. Look at this, the Ancient Ice Shaman's just almost doing it on its own.
They're gonna look for another chains into hook, potentially.
If you're Bob, you just gotta push out this wave, and I don't want to say buy out completely, but the fight that you're looking for with the tombstone not being touched, I feel like you put the tombstone in, like, just in front of where the tower is right now, a kind of obvious area, and use it as bait for the Chronosphere to come through.
Oh no.
But he does buy out on the puck. They realize that they need every little bit of damage, even if it means he won't have the buyback eventually. No Blink Dagger on the Pudge, so can't quickly blink into position and go for that hook. This is composed DOTA. This is not something that we saw from Neon during the DPC, and, well, this is a desperation play where there were creeps in the base, so backdoor protection isn't there. They're going to go for this full-on smoke, but gets popped for 1, and 2, you're losing your base. Tier 3 tower's gone. There's nothing stopping the Ancient Thunderhide from taking another couple of chunks out of the range Drax, and you've got nothing out of this movement. Plus, in Midas, it's a blast rig for himself. Not going to do that much. Paladin Sword might, though, as well as this Mjolnir. Back.
Oh, they're so close to buying up the Wraith pack as well for the Undying. You mentioned that Bob bought out for the Kyron Sun. Palos just bought out for the Mjolnir. You need every single item you can get. It's like
that's a big item too. Play hard. Just checking Roshan literally as it respawns as well. So he's going to be able to back up. They're probably still going to send a bunch of creeps here on Enryu. Be able to keep the pressure up towards the lane. Or I mean, this is obvious as hell, right? Bottom lane's pushing in heavily, but you got to go for the all-in play.
Need a ward though. Execration, they need a ward to take this team fight. They're just gonna charge into the middle. Oh, it's an early BKB from Palos. They might be able to bring down Avatomo, but he's gonna be able to rend them down to the south, and meanwhile Shanks is gone. Palos, he's targeting the Enchantress, but this is not the hero you want to be prioritizing. You're not gonna kill this man off. The space is being created, meanwhile inside the pit, an Echo Slam to hold back the puck. He should be able to get the blink away. Palos will also time walk up to the high ground.
Now what? They just don't have anything. Bottom lane's pushing in. Down 2 heroes. You're down a Dream Coil. You're going to lose Roshan as well. Oh. what a way to go if this is the way that Execration are bowing out.
Scary feet ain't going to be a problem now.
They're picking up Palos. Be able to TPR.
Level 18, Akshard, maybe try and force them to use a preemptive BKB. It does feel like one of the only ways that they might be able to come back into this one at all, but it's not looking likely. 6% probability remains for Execration coming through here to go as quickly as possible, push out this next wave so it's not an area of concern for the next team fight. Bob, he's kind of been caught out a little bit here, spooked by Play Hard, and have to get back. Might try and push out one last wave before he returns to the base, but you got to spend this gold, brother. The last defense. Jard on Palos.
Good luck going through a second life. The first is hard enough to kill off on the Pudge. Zingard will keep the barracks healthy for the moment. Not really going to help out versus the Impetus. Dino's falling low at the moment. Fortune Soul won't have an opening though for the hook.
Oh,
there's a silence.
Mindbreaker?
Oh my lord, the chains that as well. Fortune Soul is slowed down. They're going to go for Bob instead. The puck forced to drop the coil though, so they can't close the distance. He's in trouble. He's going to orb to the right side. He'll bait it out, but the blink's still coming up. Bobby doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do.
He has to 1v5, that's the thing. Luckily enough, he didn't buy his items, so at least he's got the buyback coming through here.
Forced to pop the BKB to deal with the chains, but this is your first life on the punch, and they're barely tickling him. Fortune Soul seems unkillable at this stage in the game. Palos will line up the Chronosphere, but it's only on to one. In fact, it'll just set them up for an Echo Slam. As Bob, he said he had to do it all. He might be able to kill off Play Hard. Dino's going to move back into the middle as well, but the chains from afar, the damage from Set, they'll go to Shanks next as well. Neon, it looks like they've done it. It looks like they've knocked out Execration. That qualifier run, the G's had dropped, and who would have thought that Neon would be able to do it?
Last place team from the DPC into top 6 in the TI qualifiers. They're looking real happy, just jumping out of their chairs instantly. They know the job's not done though. We've got to
against VP, and I'm just like having trouble breathing. It's weird like that, and you don't know when anxiety is going to hit you. If you're freaking out, you know, somebody else is probably freaking out too.
Just a screw up in the game. You made a mistake in the game, and that's why you lost. Those things can happen, but those things should not eat you. Sadly, a lot of people end up thinking about their loss a lot because they could have done better.
To lose in finals, just one step before winning, it's hit you much harder.
输了以后，第一个感觉就是我很对不起所有的粉丝，因为他们一直以来都很支持我，尤其是在场所有的观众也是在呼喊着我的名字，所以我觉得很对。